The footy's on Triple M.
It's never been bigger.
Oh, big atmosphere.
More massive moments.
What about that?
Every massive match.
The energy, the electricity is building. Massive!
For Ream Hot Water and McDonald's.
Triple M rocks footy.
It's a very good afternoon on a very, very special day in Australia's history. Great to have your company, of course, for McDonald's and Ream Hot Water. Triple M rocks footy, a double header on Anzac Day. We start with Hawthorn and Sydney at the University of Tasmania Stadium in Launceston. Jack Heverin joined first and foremost by the Queen of Triple M footy, Kate McCarthy. K-Mac, good to see you.
Yeah, it's lovely to be here. As you said, Jack, a very momentous occasion and a big honour to be calling footy on Anzac Day.
Sure is. Collingwood at Essendon to come later at the MCG. Joey Montagna cast as good an eye as anyone over the weekend's action. Joey, this is an interesting game for a lot of different reasons, particularly for the Hawks. We've seen their best and their worst in the last 2 weeks.
G'day, Jack. Hello, Kate. Yeah, I'm really looking forward to this game. I think this will be a beauty. I'm pretty bullish on Hawthorn. I was at the game live last week against Geelong. Loved the way they played. Loved the way they responded when they were challenged. Their contest stuff, which has been an issue, they were excellent. And I get a good look at the Swans, who I'm still wanting to see where the Swans' best footy is at. So we all probably think they should beat Hawthorn today, but I think this will be a lot closer than most people might think.
Last two games, Kate. West Coast Eagles, they won by 63 points. Week before, they beat North Melbourne in a bit of a slog. So, to Joey's point, where have you kind of got the Swans after 5 rounds of footy?
Yeah, I think they've been obviously very competitive, 4-1, so they're exactly where they would want to be going into the 6th round. But they've just got, I guess, a bit of power everywhere across the field. They've got the McCartan brothers who are playing some great football down back. Obviously, Tom winning most of his one-on-ones and then Paddy taking a lot of intercept marks, and then Heaney up forward kicking 14 goals for the season so far, and Bud comes back into the team this week as well. And then we've got Parker and Mills, who had significant impacts last week. And I was really impressed by Peter Laddams, actually, in his second game for the club. Had 25 disposals, 25 hit-outs and a goal to go with it. So he would have been really happy with that, coming obviously across from Port Adelaide. And yeah, I think they're building nicely. And it'll just be, I think, a really close game. As Joey said, I completely agree with his analysis of where Hawthorn are at, and I think this will be a bit closer than most people expect.
27 minutes away from the bounce of the footy. It's the Triple M footy preview. Now, Joey, we can probably just let the Triple M family in on our warm-up today. The opener hits, the music starts rolling, and we just looked at each other.
Yeah, I thought it was planned, mate, that you were going to drive the bus today. Kate's on her own special, so I was going to help out, and we did. We just had a little moment, didn't we? We had a bit of a freeze. But
did we recover? Are we okay now?
Did it beautifully, mate. That's why you're a pro. You did it so beautifully. But no. Look, it's as I said, it's always a special day on the calendar, particularly the AFL calendar, to play on Anzac Day. I like the fact that they can share it around a little bit now with obviously the last night's game too, the Anzac Day Eve game, and now we get a game in Tasmania today. So it is a special occasion, and as I said, really looking forward to it. But we are, let's be honest, probably the entree to the main later this afternoon, the big game at the MCG to follow this one.
We're happy to be spring rolls. That's okay.
That's
We're just here early.
That's fine.
The spring rolls, dim sims, that's what we are. And then the big stuff's coming later on. The full team assembled at the MCG. And if you're listening to us outside of Melbourne today as well, had a look at the forecast. It is a sensational day for footy. So going to be a great one at the MCG. Go back to last night, Kate. You saw Melbourne and Richmond up close. What did you think? It was a very inaccurate Demons team that got the job done.
Yeah, it was. I think they were a bit, I guess, forgiving in some sense. The game could have been over by halftime, really, with the amount of shots that they missed in that second quarter. Had a lot of ball in their front half. I think they had 14 inside 50s to 1 at one point in the second quarter, but it only kicked something like 6 or 7 behinds to go with it. So, and then we saw finally in the third quarter they had similar opportunity and put the scores on the board. So I think the score favoured Richmond up until about three-quarter time, and then Melbourne just showed their class in probably the third and fourth quarter, and I think their professionalism in the fourth quarter to really take the sting out of it. Richmond was still in touch. I think they were about 15, 20 points behind, but they just controlled the ball beautifully and just took all the sting out of the match and kind of just outplayed Richmond in the fourth quarter, and they didn't really have an opportunity to get back into it.
Are we running out of things to say about Melbourne already?
We are a little bit, to be honest. I mean, there are some people even talking about now the perfect season and all these sorts of things.
Oh, please.
I know, it's 6 weeks in. I mean, they will drop a game, and I think they'd want to drop a game. But, look, it is hard at the moment. It feels like they're toying with the rest of the competition. Like, it's almost, there's been an element in almost every Melbourne game this year, Kate, where they've almost let the teams in. They've sort of just given them a little look and then said, and they've shut the door and put the foot down. So in that regard, they've actually made it a little bit interesting because they don't even look like losing. Like even when they're behind, or as you said, when Richmond were coming, you're watching the game last night and you don't even feel concerned that Melbourne are going to lose. You just go, they'll be fine. They've been in that situation a lot of times now and they're just rolling. As long as they stay fit and healthy, they'll have an off day where they'll get beaten. I mean, they might kick another 9 goals 30 one day, Kate, and the other team take advantage and beat them. But otherwise, it's hard to see the way they are playing that this premiership is theirs for the taking, absolutely.
And, Kate, the thing I thought watching last night, Clayton Oliver, best on ground, clearly the best player on the ground with 41 disposals. No issues there. But Alex Neil-Bullen had 27 disposals. Tom Sparrow had one of his best games. It's not always just about the Oliver, Petrarca, Brayshaw show. They're getting so much contribution from so many players.
Yeah, I thought Ed Langdon was really good last night. He obviously patrols the wing perfectly. Look, in my opinion, all-Australian wingman, let's hope that they actually pick a wingman this year, and I think it should be Ed Langdon if they pick one. But even Joel Smith came into the team last night, and he was really good down back with Lever being out of the team. So him and Stephen May and Harrison Petty played really well as well. So they just have so much depth when players like that come in and just fit into the system perfectly. Yeah, I think it's real concerns for most other teams in the competition.
Joey, you played in some really good footy teams in your career, teams that are kind of like Melbourne at the moment that go on big winning streaks, almost look unbeatable. What's that like internally? How do you make sure that you're up, you're motivated, and you're doing what you need to do every week?
Well, it just becomes habit. Like you just perform at the same level every single week. It doesn't matter what day you're playing, where you're playing, who you're playing. You just have so much trust and belief in your system, in yourself, and in your teammates that it just becomes a habit consistently to be at the right arousal levels, to play the right way. And if you're challenged, you know how to respond. So it just becomes, it does become sort of instinctive in the end, the way you play. It just flows. And that's where Melbourne are at. I said that's why it doesn't look like they're even going to lose. They're just travelling beautifully. So, they'll keep ticking along. And as we said, unless it gets to a prelim, Kate, that's, we think about Geelong in 2008 or, there's something like that where they have a really bad day in a prelim or a grand final, whether they kick really inaccurately. That's the only way at the moment you can see them, not winning the flag.
Yeah, and in those teams, you get this appetite for winning as well, and winning is a whole lot more fun than losing, and you really apply yourself in those senses. And we went through the whole first season of the AFLW undefeated, and it's not going into a grand final. It's not where you want to be.
Yeah.
Completely undefeated. We drew with Carlton going into the grand final and felt like a loss. It was one of those draws where you should win. Carlton came from behind a long way, and then we ended up losing the grand final, and that first taste of defeat being the grand final is not a place that you want to be. So, yeah, I think you get that appetite for winning, and it's something that you really enjoy, and it's something that you want to keep replicating.
Yeah, good point. And just a quick note on Richmond, I think we've found their level. They are no longer a real threat to win the premiership, let's be honest. So I think they're still a good team. They could still make finals. I think there's maybe one or two spots left in that 8, the bottom part of the 8, where some team could take it. Richmond is still good enough, particularly what happens with Dustin Martin. But I think we've seen that they're not at the same level as Melbourne and probably the top 3 or 4 teams anymore. So they'll be up and down all season.
It's a Triple M footy preview for Ream Hot Water, built tough for Aussie conditions when it comes to water heating. Ask your plumber to install a Ream about 20 minutes away from the bounce of the footy in Launceston. So that was the good. Melbourne's performance last night, winning when they didn't play their best footy, but that was the good. The bad was North Melbourne yesterday. Is it unfair to say that they're getting harder and harder to watch every week? Is that too harsh?
No, it's probably fair. I think it's frustrating everyone that we're not seeing a level of improvement. I think that's all you want to see. I mean, we didn't expect them to beat Geelong yesterday. We don't necessarily expect them to win a lot of games, but you expect to see them more competitive and be better and improve. And at the moment, watching them and doing the game yesterday for Triple M, it's hard to see what part of the ground is an area of improvement. So defensively, and we're not just talking about their key defenders. We know that Hawkins and Cameron got a hold of them, but their whole team defence is just not up to the standard. They get picked apart too easily. Their contested ball and clearance game is still a concern. They won the clearances yesterday, but in general, the contested possession stuff, they got smacked early, and they were able to sort of peg that back, but that's not the level it needs to be. And offensively, they just don't have enough firepower, in their front half. They've got Larkey, who, has some good games, but he's been pretty quiet in others. Zerha, Zeeble. So it's just been frustrating watching the Kangaroos and thinking, what part of their game are they trying to build a platform for that they can get better as the rest of the season and next year progresses?
Let's take a listen to their coach, David Noble, after yesterday's loss by 60 points to the Cats.
That level of consistency is just not there. You know, our turnovers today were just terrible. It's something we've got to address pretty seriously.
I think they're when you looked at their list, they've got some talent there. So that's probably, I think, it's not like they've just got no talent. I think just it's hard to see their system and their style and what they're trying to achieve. But there's some young players there that have certainly got talent, but maybe they need to mix it up. We were talking about it yesterday, and Ross Lyon was giving a great insight. Start of the last quarter, they put Jack Zeeble in the centre bounce. Three-quarter time, the game was done. Why not, if first quarters are an issue and they're still a young side, start with Zeeble in the centre bounce. Start with Cam Zerha in the centre bounce for the first 5 or 10 minutes and go, let's get our big bodies in there, throw our weight around, because as the games have opened up, Kangaroos have been a bit better. Second quarters in particular against the Bulldogs, Good Friday. Last week, they're better when the game sort of, a bit of the heat's taken out of it. So maybe there are some things they can look at to just be more competitive in those first quarters, to at least give themselves a chance of being competitive for the rest of the game rather than just chasing their tail because they're too far behind.
Yeah, and it's that real lack of improvement. I think if you're a North fan, you sort of licking your lips coming into this season. Oh, we've had a tough season the season before. We've got the number 1 draft pick. There was a lot of hype around that, but it's just that really inconsistent performances. They haven't really built this whole season, and 6 rounds in now, and probably from round 1 to round 6, there's no real change in their method, and nothing that's really been that standout, and no real improvement that's really that evident.
Carlton next week, Freo away the week after, and then Port Adelaide in Hobart. So that's the next 3 for North Melbourne. Not that you're expecting that any game's an easy game for them given their state of things at the moment, Joey, but there's not a lot of joy in the next couple of weeks there for them.
It does look difficult, and you do just want to win for them, for their own belief that they can do it and that they are good enough. I mean, a lot of people, and I think I had Adelaide in the bottom 4 at the start of the year thinking similar sort of thing, but you can see the way that they're applying themselves with their pressure and their contest work, and they're giving themselves chances to win games of footy. So it is possible. It's just got to be the effort and the consistency that we just heard David Noble talk about.
Brisbane took on the Gold Coast Suns yesterday. That was the middle game, 52-point win in the Q Clash for the Lions. Did they just, without underselling what they did they just tick the box, did what they needed to do and move on?
I was disappointed in the Gold Coast. I thought this was it felt like one of their best chances of beating Brisbane in recent times. Like they'd sort of come off some good form. They were building, but I think Brisbane flexed their muscles. I think if you think about yesterday, all 3 teams, Geelong, Melbourne, Brisbane, who I've probably still got, I think, as the 3 most likely to win the flag. Clearly Melbourne, we spoke about off the top of the number 1, that those 2, Brisbane, Geelong, and they did what they had to do. Good teams, put the opposition away, did it in style, and just sort of let the competition know that they are still the big dogs in this competition.
Yeah, and I think Zach Bailey kicking 6 goals, he's just electric up forward, and it was also really good to see Cam Rayner, probably his best performance since coming back from that ACL as well, but yeah, Jared Lyons always performs really well against the Gold Coast. They just let him know, let me go for free. I'm just going to turn it on here. And Lachie Neale, I think he's having a fantastic season. We've obviously heard how much better his preseason was coming into this season, and yeah, he's just performing well. And obviously that move of Zorko down to half-back, it's paying off dividends. There's a few times where the ball comes in and his opponent kicks a goal, but I think they'd give him that for how much he's really generating their forward ball movement. He can get away with that.
Both teams are out on the ground and warming up in Launceston. We're not too far away from the bounce of the ball. Don't forget, you can now stream every game of Triple M Footy live on the Listener app. Download it now. LISTNR. Final teams are in. Subs are in. We'll talk about all of that and the formalities ahead of Game 1 on our Anzac Day doubleheader. Coming up next for McDonald's and Ream Hot Water. Triple M rocks footy.
Now you can stream the footy wherever you go. Download the Listener app and select Triple M.
For Ream Hot Water and McDonald's,
Triple M rocks footy.
Triple M is your home of the Marty Sheargold Show.
10:56. Supernova Crab Nebula.
Yeah.
Last seen by the naked eye. Well, where's it gone? To the shops.
Oh, God.
To the shops.
Silly.
It's just ridiculous. So ridiculous. Where's that supernova gone? It's gone up the shops.
The Marty Sheargold Show. Weekdays from 6 on Melbourne's 105.1 Triple M.
At Total Tools, we won't be beaten on low prices. Our Save Time, Save Money promo is on now. With the included HEPA filter, the Trend 800-watt M-Class vacuum cleaner has a 99.9% filtration efficiency. It's only $345 and exclusive to Total Tools. Beat that! Our low prices on some of the world's biggest tool brands will not be beaten. Total Tools, low prices on every tool for every trade. Guaranteed.
Holidays are here, so keep the whole family happy these school holidays at Hoyd's. Enjoy big savings with family of 3 and family of 4 tickets to the latest family movies. Book your tickets now at hoyds.com.au. T's and C's apply.
Have you found yourself looking everywhere to find great value? Look no further than a Kogan Money credit card. 0 annual fees, tantalising rewards. Plus, if you meet the spend requirements, you can earn up to $400 in credit to spend on Kogan.com. Make the switch to a great value credit card at koganmoney.com.au. Offer ends April 30. T's and C's credit criteria, other fees and charges apply. Product issuer and credit provider, Citigroup Proprietary Limited.
There has never been a better time to buy a shed. And if you want to buy a Best Shed, then you've got to get into Best Sheds. Buy now during their massive autumn sale for huge savings. Spend 10K, save $1,000. Spend 20K, save $2,500. Spend 40K and you'll save a huge $6,000. All Best Sheds are Australian owned and manufactured and come with a 20-year warranty. Don't miss out on the huge autumn deals at Best Sheds. Hurry, limited time only. Go to bestsheds.com.au.
You can't go past IGA for hundreds of weekly specials right across the store. Like Somat Gold 2-in-1 gel caps 25-pack, only $8 each. That's half price. Now at IGA. Offer ends April 26. Participating stores only. Excludes IGA Express and local grocer.
Did you know that right now you can get everything you need to help you move from Budget?
Everything?
Everything.
I'll bet they don't have boxes. You always need more boxes.
They have boxes.
Ropes?
They have ropes.
Bubble wrap?
They have bubble wrap.
All right then, I bet they don't have trolleys.
They have trolleys. And you can drive a budget moving van with a car licence. It's easy.
I knew that.
Of course you did.
Melbourne's Triple M, the home of the Marty Sheargold Show. Live weekday mornings from 6.
Hey there, I'm Kim Bradish. Across the country, thousands have turned out to honour fallen servicemen and women at Anzac Day marches and services. After 2 years of pandemic restrictions, it's been 107 years today since Australian and New Zealand soldiers landed on Turkey's Gallipoli Peninsula in World War II. Governor-General David Hurley says as we show up today, it tells a lot about who we were, who we are and who we aspire to be.
On Anzac Day, we're drawn to memorials, to marches, to moments of reflection, both in groups and privately. We remember those who have served, those who have made a supreme sacrifice, and the contribution that they have made to our country.
Speaking about the security pact between the Solomon Islands and China, the Defence Minister says the only way to preserve peace is to prepare for war. It comes after the Prime Minister warned if Beijing builds a military base on the island nation, it will be the red line for Australia and the US. Peter Dutton speaking on 9 this Anzac Day, saying we stand on the shoulders of those who've kept our country safe, but we can't think that'll last forever.
The only way you can preserve peace is to prepare for war and to be strong as a country, not to cower, not to, be on bended knee and be, weak.
And a man is facing court today accused of threatening Barnaby Joyce on the side of a busy highway in New South Wales last week.
Go your own way in the 3-litre Isuzu D-Max and the extraordinary 7-seat Isuzu MUX. To discover more, visit your local Isuzu Ute dealer today.
Partly cloudy skies. We're heading for a top of 21 for Melbourne today. Tomorrow, partly cloudy and 23. Slight chance of a late shower. Our listener app is the new home of Triple M. Download now to listen live or on demand.
Triple M rocks footy.
This quarter for Beacon Trade, supporting tradies with over 120 stores, expert teams and a huge range of electrical products and services. Beacon makes every tradie's job easier.
It's your Anzac Day doubleheader for McDonald's and Ream Hot Water Triple M rocks footy. We start with Hawthorn and Sydney at the University of Tasmania Stadium in Launceston. Later on this afternoon, Collingwood and Essendon at the MCG. Jack Heverin, Joey Montagna, Kate McCarthy, and for the first time this afternoon, boundary side for Bob Jane Teamarts, Bryce Parker. Welcome, Bryce.
Good afternoon, guys. And a great day for football here in Launceston. It is a little overcast, so the lights are on, but no real threat of rain. 14 degrees and no wind to speak of. The flags on top of the grandstand are completely still, so we love to see that here in Tasmania in late April.
We do.
No late changes for either side. Sorry, guys, no late changes for either side. Medical subs, Liam Shields for Hawthorn and Josh Kennedy for the Swans.
Thank you very much, Bryce. And Bob Jane Teamarts by a set of 4 monster wheels for your car, Kate, and off-road tyres, and enter to win an Austrac Telegraph X-Camper trailer. Speaking of those subs, just confirming Liam Shields and Josh Kennedy, the subs. Ethan Meldrum's got all of the Triple M Red Z lending stats. Hello, Heath.
Hello, Jack. I thought I was onto one when those subs got named. I thought they must be the most experienced subs of all time. They rank 6th, in fact, 470 combined games between those two. It's not quite the headline I was going for. There's a game, round 15, 2015, I think it was. 662 games combined of experience between Brent Harvey and James Kelly in the green vest. Just a ridiculous number. 200 games short. Not even close, Liam Shields and Josh Kennedy today. So miles off on that one. Just running through a couple of stats between the teams. Hawthorn become really potent under Sam Mitchell. 87 points per game. Their highest since 2016. Number 2 for goals per inside 50. Number 1 for scoring from their defensive 50. Number 1 for scoring inside 30 metres as well in the competition. 43% of their points come from inside that zone. Number 1 in the league. Doing it without any territory. They're number 16 in the comp for inside 50 differential as well. James Sicily, the player I want to point out for them, averaging 23 disposals per game, but number 1 for marks, number 4 for intercepts. 19 one-on-ones he's defended this year as well. Yet to concede a mark from those 19 one-on-one contests. So he's done really well down back on his return from an ACL injury for the Swans. Similar to Hawthorn, really dangerous offensively. Number 3 for points scored. Number 3 for scores from turnover. Also much more dangerous around the ground. They're number 1 for clearances around the ground, throw-ins and ball-ups. They were ranked 14th there last year, up to number 1 this year. So a big step up from them in that regard. Lance Franklin, 97 goals from his 28 games at York Park, or University of Tasmania Stadium, I should say. 13 goals as well. His career best kicked at this venue against North Melbourne in 2012. 5 more goals, ties with Jared Ruffhead for most goals at this venue.
Nicely done, Heath. I was a bit worried about your preparation coming in, but that's a good start by you. Red Z Lending, loans for the self-employed. Players are lined up on the broadcast wing. And we're about to hand it over to our ground MC.
Now to please stand for the Anzac Observance Ceremony to be presented by RSL Tasmania. For the ode, last post, moment's silence followed by the Reveille. And we would ask you to please remain upstanding for the Australian National Anthem.
They shall not grow old, as we that are left grow old. Age shall not weary them, nor the years condemn. At the going down of the sun, and in the morning, we will remember them. lest we forget.
Ladies and gentlemen, if you are able, we would ask you to please remain upstanding and remove your hat for the Australian National Anthem.
Australians, oh, let us rejoice, for we are one and free. We've golden soil and wealth for toil, home is girt by sea. Our land abounds in nature's gifts of beauty, rich and rare. In history's page, let every stage advance Australia fair. In joyful strains, then let us sing, advance Australia fair.
Thank you, ladies and gentlemen.
Spectacular way to start this game, and full respect from the crowd at University of Tasmania Stadium as well. You could have heard a pin drop throughout the formalities, which is superb. We're a couple of minutes away from the bounce of the footy for a Friday night feed with the whole team. Get the Macca's Chicken Deluxe range. Order via McDelivery. Kate McCarthy, Joey Montagna. Who's winning this game and why?
I think the Swans will win this one. I just think all around the ground, a little bit more balanced than Hawthorn, but I think it's going to be an extremely close one. I reckon the Swans by about 12 in the end.
Yeah, Ethan's numbers before about the Swans and their clearance game is going to be the issue for the Hawks. They do lose the clearance often, which means they play the game in their back half. Probably too much for their liking, but they've been able, as Ethan said, bounce from their back half and generate score. I think that's the importance of not having CJ today. GF in that side is a huge out for that factor because they do get a lot of springboard and run and bounce from him off half-back. So I think that the ball will probably be spent more time in Sydney's front half, which just makes it extremely difficult. I think the Hawks defend really well, and they are strong, but as Kate said, I think as the game wears on, Sydney have a little bit too much class. Think about guys like Isaac Heaney, Buddy Franklin back into the side. So, look, it'll be a close game, and I hope it really is, and I think the Hawks will give their best effort, but I think the Swans will probably just get it done.
Jager O'Meara walks to the middle.
He's one that needs a big game, Jager O'Meara. He's been slightly down. Ethan, I'm not sure if you've got his numbers for the year, but O'Meara's just been slightly down on his previous best.
Yeah, playing a little bit less midfield, 32% forward last week, just the 15 disposals for him last week.
Which we've heard Sam Mitchell say he wants to get the kids in there more. So I suppose to do that, it means someone has to step out, and it's O'Meara that's sacrificing that role.
And really nice to see this is the first time that the Hawks will wear a dedicated Anzac Day Guernsey, and all the proceeds for this one after they're auctioned off will go to the RSL's 2022 Anzac Appeal as well.
So the Hawks have won the toss. They'll kick to the city end in the opening quarter. Forecast top of 20 degrees today. Bryce told us earlier for Bob Jane T-Mast that the lights are on already. It's a little overcast, but overall looks to be pretty good for footy. Lance Franklin and Logan McDonald in the same team. It's the current and the future. Joey, we haven't seen a lot of it, the two of them playing.
No, it's going to be good to see them play. Logan McDonald was very good without Franklin in the side. Look, Logan McDonald has the ability to play higher up the ground. I've seen him work up to the wings. He's got a good tank. So I think maybe that probably is the best way to utilise him. Let him roam a bit higher up the ground. Franklin can play closer to goal, particularly as he gets a bit older, and that's the role for him. Look, they've got a nice mix. Isaac Heaney's a star. They've moved Errol Goulden up to the wing, who's become a really quality player. I mean, he's going to be a star as well. And then I think guys like Chad Warner are sneaking under the radar. I mean, there's a lot of talk about some of the other midfielders, but Chad Warner, McInerney, Florent, these guys, they just continue to develop. So, it's a couple of young sides going at it, and I think the Swans will just get the chocolates in this one. But as we said, the Hawks, they're defending really well. I mean, Max Lynch has now got a big role to play in the ruck, just his second game for the Hawks. The big man with a big mullet going on there without Reeves, who was doing such a good job as the number one ruck, and Ben McAvoy's still a fair while off playing. So Yeah, looking forward to this one. Can't wait.
No Giath today for Hawthorn. No Tom Phillips. No Mitch Lewis out with a hamstring. And as Joey said, Ned Reeves is going to miss a big chunk of footy as well with a shoulder injury. It's our Anzac Day doubleheader. As soon as we finish up here, we'll take you to the MCG for Collingwood and Essendon. But for McDonald's and Ream Hot Water, Triple M Rocks footy. It'll be the Hawks and the Swans to get us going. Laddams on the back of a superb game last week in the ruck against Lynch, who climbs all over him. Tap fell back into his arms and he wins the clearance. Drives long to the top of 50. There's Heaney picking it up off ground level. Couldn't find the target by hand. Wingard back into the team. Works a handball to Mitchell from left half forward, high up and under. No mark to be paid. It pack forms about 40 metres out from the Hawks' goal, and the umpire will call for a ball up.
Keep an eye on Dylan Moore, the small forward. He's a fast starter. He's kicked the first goal a number of times, kicked the second. I think all 11 goals, Ethan, for him so far this season have been in first half. This is the first half.
Yeah, spot on. 11 goals in the first half, none in the second this season for Dylan Moore.
Ball up, went out of bounds, so now we'll have it thrown in, still inside the 50 for the Hawks, going to the right of the broadcast. Perfect conditions in Launceston for footy today as Lynch again wins the hit, just knocks it forward. Paddy McCartan mops it up and gives the handball to McInerney. He kicks it outside the defensive 50 to the wing. Hayward leads Nash to the ball, gives it back to Rampy, and they feed back again to Lloyd. He's able to take some time, assess his options, and finds the target in Bell. James Bell, just in front of the interchange bench. Hawks have set up their team defence well, so he's forced to kick a long, high ball. Big pack of players. McLean just brought it to ground. Scrimshaw did it nicely. Fed it to Nash, who goes around the body, back where it came from. Bruce, what a star he has been and still continues to be at his age, and the ball goes out of bounds.
We touched on the loss of CJ for Hawthorn and how vital that's going to be to their attack and how they like to move the ball, but I think it's also one where we've talked about how potent Sydney's forwards are, and they just lose that ability to really test their forwards running the other way. So he is a huge loss and also stops them from being a little bit more accountable in the forward line.
No score as yet. A couple of minutes gone. Triple M IGA Liquor scoreboard. Blakey thrown off it on the wing. No free kick. Lynch had a fumble. Mills went past. Lost down by Warple in tight confines, and Newcomb got a handball to Scrimshaw. Now they start to build. Day back into the team. Heads towards Wingard, who marks. Strong overhead. Best part of 35 metres out directly in front.
Pressure's been good to start this game from Hawthorn, really applying the pressure in and around the contest, being able to win that and get it forward. And obviously a big in this week, Chad Wingard back in the team.
Missed the last two games with a calf injury. One of their 4 changes today. Starts it out to the right. Doesn't come back. Minor score, Triple M IGA Liquor scoreboard. IGA Liquor, where good food deserves a great drop.
Yeah, Kate spot on about the pressure so far. Red Z Lending stats, 5 tackles to none Hawthorn's way. Pressure factor up to 223 for the Hawks. AFL average 180.
Well, impressive start from the Hawks. Lloyd strolls out of fullback, went looking for Cunningham, but well done by Wingard. Knocks that one out of bounds. Game number 198 today for Chad Wingard. He's got the big milestone coming up in a couple of weeks' time. James Sicily, game 99 as well for the Hawks today. So ball thrown in just outside the 50. Outer side, UTAS Stadium. The hit down to O'Meara, who sends it inside 50. Lloyd was on his own, didn't take the mark. Bit of that perceived pressure maybe that Ethan was just talking about. Double fists it out of bounds.
Good crowd today in Launceston. It's the Hawks home away from home. They've done such a good job building up an army of supporters in the Apple Isle. Laddams tapped it down, but towards Hawthorn's goal. Warple goes back by hand. Moore couldn't get his kick away. Now Scrimshaw from right on 50 kicks a low grubber. Kaczynski had his fingers underneath, couldn't mark. Gunston ridden into the turf, wanted a free kick, and will get it.
Just being able to generate a lot of ball inside their forward 50, and then Swans are just feeling that pressure that's coming from Hawthorn at the moment, having a real trouble getting it out of their defensive 50.
3 goals last week, kicks the first of the afternoon on Anzac Day. been a good start for the Hawks. They're 1-1-7. The Swans are yet to score. Triple M IGA Liquor scoreboard.
Yeah, and as I said, just being able to generate a lot of field position here, keeping the ball inside their forward half and a lot of defensive pressure, lots of pressure on the kickouts from the Swans, and they've just had a lot of trouble exiting their back half. As a result, Hawthorn get the chocolates and get the first goal.
Yeah, Red Zed Lending stats. We're talking about Hawthorn not being a forward half team. Already 97% time in their forward half. Swans yet to have a touch in their forward half of the ground. 4 inside 50s to none as well.
Ethan and the Red Zed Lending loans for the self-employed today. Very similar start to last week. Ethan, I think they had 18 possessions before the Cats even touched the footy last week, and they had a lot of ball inside their forward 50 early, and it set them up for a big win. They've started well. McDonald's and Ream hot water. Triple M rocks footy. Back in the middle, Tom Mitchell, who started on a forward flank, now in this centre bounce, and will have a secondary stoppage. He's got Jager O'Meara in there with him. And Jai Newcomb, who was excellent last week. There is Mitchell, who shovels a quick little handball to Newcomb. And again, they go inside 50. A low darting ball. It was looking for Gunston. It went over his head. And trailing him was Kazitsky, who takes it on his chest. 40 outside angle.
First to react there, the Hawthorn forwards step behind all Sydney defenders were there. Just really moved quickly towards the footy when it came out and they won that clearance. And it wasn't the intended target, but because he was playing in front of his defender, ended up with the ball.
So Kazitsky will kick from about 45 out. Looks good off the boot. It's a beautiful kick. The Hawks are up and about. They've got the first two. And on the Triple M IJ Liquor scoreboard, they're 2-1-13. The Swans yet to score. 6.5 minutes opening term.
Yeah, well, Sydney need a centre clearance here, need some field position, being able to keep it inside their forward half and generate a little bit of pressure. But it came from the man that won the NAB Rising Star nomination last week, Jai Newcomb. Got a really nice clean clearance, and then Kazitsky just playing in front of McCartan there, ended up landing in his lap a little bit fortuitously, but if you're a forward playing in front, gives yourself the best opportunity.
Yeah, clearances are getting dominated by the Swans. Sorry, not dominated by the Swans, dominated by the Hawks so far. 5-1, Hawthorn's way. Warple with 2, Mitchell 3 disposals as well. Big numbers for them already.
So concerning start if you're a Sydney fan. Promising start if you're a Hawthorn fan for McDonald's and Ream Hot Water. Triple M rocks footy. Free kick after Laddams won the tap down, and now they get their clearance, Kate. Free kick to James Rowbottom. Right next to the centre circle. Kicks a low, flat ball off the hands of McLean. Ball to ground was Ward. Here's Franklin. Managed to get a handball free. Ronk steps back into traffic. Now Franklin again gave up his handball, and Hawthorn can mop it up through Sicily.
Kicks a high ball to the wing. Paddy McCartan has to stand under it. Couldn't take the mark. And then Gunston again's going to get a free kick in the back. And here the applause from the crowd. A lot of Hawthorn fans, of course. Home game for them. Goes towards Newcomb. And again, another free kick for an arm chop against Blakey. So it'll be John Newcomb just forward of the wing. Broadcast side. Slow plays allowed Sydney to get numbers back. So he's going to kick it long down the line. He went to the smallest man in that forward half, little Dylan Moore. And Campbell punches that one out of bounds. 50 metres out from the Hawks' goal. Tom Mitchell and Scrimshaw already 3 disposals. This will be thrown in right on the 50. Max Lynch has come in for Reeves. Again, done well, got the hand of the ball. And again, Mitchell wins the clearance, shovels it back to Morrison, who just couldn't get the arms free. He's ping-ponging the ball. It's going to go the way of Callum Mills. Tried to let the ball bounce in front of him as it was thrown back from a Hawk. Tried to claim the 50, but good umpiring. And the kick goes inboard, finds Florent.
So try and get something going from the back half of the Swans. They want the corridor. Florent's kick had to be good for Laddams, and it was. Handballs to Rampy, who was driving by it. Now Franklin at centre half forward. Handballed over his shoulder. Problem was everyone had left. Hawthorn on the turnover. Newcomb from half-back has a man on his own inside 50. Here goes Dylan Moore again. Another first quarter goal. And the Hawks have got the first 3. End-to-end stuff for Sam Mitchell's man. They're 3-1-19. Sydney are donuts, Kate McCarthy.
couple of mistakes early in the game from Lance Franklin. He's had a couple of first gives that he hasn't tried to give, that he hasn't quite given. He's tried to take on the tackler. That time it was just a clean turnover. Couldn't get the handball out, and as a result, they just slingshot back down the other end and kicked a goal. Got it quickly on the move, and poor Sydney defence had nowhere to go.
Off the back of their pressure again. Ethan, the Hawks, what's their pressure? And that's another turnover goal.
Hawthorn pressure 2-12 so far, 7 tackles to 4 their way. Look at the tackle efficiency as well. Sydney 5 ineffective tackles so far. Hawthorn yet to have one of those.
Yeah. Franklin, I think all 3 of his handballs, he's just coughed it up. And the Hawks, they're up and about, and Tom Mitchell's going to get another clearance from McDonald's and Ream Hot Water. Triple M Rocks footy, gives it off to Ward, who drills a low ball, finds Wingard on the lead. Gee, this is some good footy from the Hawks. He'll go back and have another shot. He wants to get it moving. The man on the mark wasn't ready, so he runs to 50. Has he got the journey? You bet he has. And he gives it the double cobra. The Hawks have come out blistering. They've kicked 4 goals in 10 minutes. They're 4-1-25, the Swans. Well, they're in all sorts at the moment. John Longmire's going to have a think, Kate, because they need to try something different.
Yeah, well, they need to fix up this centre clearance. They've lost a lot of centre clearances so far in this game, and just clearances around the ground as well. And that time, the man on the mark, it was Harry Cunningham. He was just caught napping. And Chad Wingard, as a result, took the extra ground, ran around him, and then kicked the ball. And, geez, beautiful double cobra to celebrate, wasn't it?
And it started again with Tom Mitchell against his old club. Number 1 ranked player on the ground, 6 disposals, 4 contest possessions, 2 clearances, 4 scoring involvements as well, of Hawthorn's 5.
All Hawthorn in this opening 11 minutes in Launceston. For McDonald's and Ream Hot Water, Triple M Rocks footy. Laddams doing the ruck work, this time against Connor Nash, with Lynch off the ground. Gordon took on the tackle, got his handball away. Lloyd had it charged down. This pressure from Hawthorn, irrepressible in the opening quarter. McCartan, that's Paddy McCartan, who misses the target by hand. Now Moore tracks it towards the boundary line, 50 metres out from goal. Golden won it back, and Cunningham had to kick around the corner, but 2 on 1. Warple couldn't get there in time, and juggles it over the line and out of bounds for a throw in.
If I was Sydney, I'd put a little bit more work into Tom Mitchell. He's really getting dangerous around the clearance. He's winning winning the ball straight off the tap. It doesn't matter which ruckman's winning it. He's just sharking the tap each time.
So throw in right in front, 50 change gates. Centre wing, Connor Nash, going to be the relief ruck for the Hawks today. Goes into the path of Warple. Nash goes and follows up his own work. Got to be careful. Goulden tried to rip it away, but there's Warple, another strong tackle. Pressure's been elite by the Hawks early in this one.
Not only have Hawthorn won a whole lot of clearances, they've kicked 3 goals from stoppage. That's a real concern for the Swans early in this one.
They're going to get another clearance because Ward fed it back to Morrison, who goes on the left towards half forward. Braden Campbell in a one-on-one with McDonald. Dylan Moore there again. He's going to get a free kick. McDonald might take the advantage. He could have. And the young man is just a little bit slow with it, so the ball's going to come back. And Dylan Moore tried to play on before he got over his mark. Umpire didn't fall for that one, so he's outside 50, too far to score. And again, a low darting bullet to a leading player. Swans defender's not happy. Rampy's having a go at young Chad Warner, saying he should have chopped off the lane. And Gunsted's going to go back and have his shot for his second.
Yeah, he probably should have chopped that one off. It was right on the 45, probably where you want that coverage from your mids coming back to sit in those lanes. And it was just a one-on-one. He pushed off his opponent. And yeah, Rampy not happy after that one.
Well, normally a beautiful kick for goal. He's going to kick this from 45 on a 45-degree angle. Starts it at the right post. Stayed out, faded. 4-2-26 Hawthorn. Sydney still yet to go. Only going inside 50. What? Still yet to score.
Inside 50s, Heath, for Red Z Landing, and Mark's inside 50, please.
Yeah, inside 50s, 8-1 so far Hawthorn's way. Mark's inside 50 as well. Red Z Landing stats. All Hawthorn at the moment, 5-0.
They've got to try and get something going. Kick chopped off at centre-half back by Sicily. They're organised behind the footy as well as in front of it. 15 marks last week for James Sicily. Leads the competition in that stat. The kick's not his best. Only to the wing. It was dropped by McInerney. Handball off to Paddy McCartan. Now he sends it deep. Hayward created the contest, but Hawthorn start to get their numbers. Sicily trying to paddle towards the boundary line. Hardwick trying to take it there now. And the ball up. Right forward pocket for the Swans. Triple M IGA Liquor scoreboard. They trail 26-0 after 14 minutes.
Got to be able to generate a little bit of forward pressure here. Keep the ball inside their forward 50.
So thrown up just inside the boundary. 20 out, Warple. Did well to get it out. Not sure how he did that, but he got it to Newcomb. And now Ward kicks a low ball, finds his first-year mate in Conor Mcdonald. So they've done that well, the Hawks. They're just forced to go slow, and they'll build it up from the back. Laterally and backwards to Scrimshaw. So back inside their defensive 50, the Hawks. Come out firing. 4 goals in the first 15 minutes. Sicily got it off Scrimshaw and then gave it back to him. And he goes long down the line. Mitchell and Rowbottom. They couldn't take the mark, but Lloyd wins possession. Gets a 1-2 and then try to give another handball. Turnover again. Hawks pressure. Really good. Newcomb did it easily. And then a beautiful pass from Newcomb. Found Gunston. Centre-half forward McCartan. Pretty clever there, Paddy McCartan. Professionally was able to take Gunston to the ground, slowed him up. And now the Swans are able to get numbers back inside their defensive 50. So Gunston inside the square. Sees the one-on-one he likes in the pocket. It was Bruce and Rampy staying down at ground level. That was McGuinness, it looked like. And now Florent wins the ball for the Swans and goes towards Frost.
And Frost is going to play on. Who knows what happens next? He gives a handball to Scrimshaw. 60 out from goal. Punches it to the goal square. Kazitsky's got a couple to beat. He kept his feet. Everyone else fell over and he walked it into an open goal. His second and Hawthorn's fifth. 5-2-32 on the Triple M IGA Liquor scoreboard. Sydney yet to score after 16 minutes.
Yeah, well, again, just sustained pressure from Hawthorn. They exited their defensive 50 fairly easily in the end and then have been able to keep the ball back inside that forward 50. Their ability to set up behind the ball, though, that's what's happening. Frost, it was that time that got the intercept mark and then was able to send the ball back inside their forward 50. Unlucky there, Paddy McCartan floating back, tried to take the intercept mark and ended up taking out his brother Tom McCartan in the marking contest. Kazitsky stayed down and got his second goal for the match.
Ethan, for Red Z, sum up these first 15 minutes for us. What's happened? How are the Hawks dominating?
Well, it's all Hawthorn pressure factor 202, and that forward half dominance as well. Something they haven't done much this year, Kate. 10 inside 50s to 2 as well.
Clearance numbers?
Clearance numbers 8-4 Hawthorn's way. 3 goals from stoppage already in this game.
McDonald's and Ream hot water. Triple M Rocks footy. Back in the centre bounce. 6-6-6 warning against the Swans, and again the pressure from the Hawks is elite. Warner couldn't get boot the ball. A lot of players on their hands and knees here. And we'll get another stoppage still inside the square. UTAS Stadium. Beautiful day for footy. The first of a big doubleheader on Anzac Day. Collingwood and the Bombers to follow. Ball thrown up. And again the Hawks win a clearance. Although Will Day was just a little bit slow. Still got boot the ball. Grubbers out towards the wing. Warple just put the accelerator on, burn off Rampy, then gave the handball to Newcomb, who's been kicking it beautifully, and again drills a ball to Gunston, and again, Gunston's going to get a free kick against Rampy. I think it's about the third one. So Gunston wastes no time. He's going to send it to the top of the square. Kazitsky got a couple of Swans to beat. Heaney's gone back there to try and lend some support. Blakey got the handball free to Campbell. Campbell squeezes one out to Ronk, and they do get out of trouble this time, the Swans.
He heads wide, though. Has Hayward on the lead at half-back.
Just need to slow this down, sorry, Jack, and just get a bit of field position. Chip the ball around. They like kicking short. Keep it in there, the ball in their hands, and just be able to generate a bit more field position here.
That's the voice of Kate McCarthy on Triple M footy. 32-0. 18 minutes played on Anzac Day. It's all Hawthorn in this opening quarter. Franklin flew one-handed at half-forward, dropped the mark. Parker jams it on the boot quickly. But they're set up, Hawthorn, and Morrison can repel into the corridor. That mark was dropped by McDonald, one that he should have taken. And Paddy McCartan got it free to Ronk. Now Mills from 45 out, drives towards goal and kicks it. Fair to say they needed that, the Swans. Their first of the game, and they cut it back to a 26-point lead on the Triple M IGA Liquor scoreboard, where good food deserves a great drop.
Well, it came off a Hawthorn error that time. They went back through the middle of the ground. It was a good kick from Harry Morrison, and it was a mark that should have been taken, but McCartan played well, got through, got his hands free and got a handball out, and it was a beautiful finish from Mills, but Yeah, one coming off a Hawthorn error, which hasn't been too likely so far in this match.
Yeah, Red Z leading stats. It's because the Swans have cranked their pressure up as well. Last 10 minutes, their pressure factor up to 202 so far this game, ahead of Hawthorn's around the 190 mark.
It was young Conor Mcdonald who dropped the chest mark, invited the opportunity for the Swans, and Callum Mills took it. So can they steady into this contest now, the Swans? They get there first. They still trail by 26 points. McDonald's and Ream Hotwater. O'Meara and Mitchell are going to get the free kick holding the ball against Isaac Heaney. Didn't make an attempt. So just next to the centre circle, it'll be O'Meara. He's going to kick it 50 metres deep to about 30 out. Kaczynski flew at the back. Max Lynch did the crumbing. Here come the Hawks. They stream through in numbers. Morrison to Bruce. Goes to the square. Wingard couldn't take the mark. Through for a rush behind. 5-3-33. Sydney one straight 6. Just ticked over to 20 minutes in this first term. Triple MIJ Liquor scoreboard.
Still to come today, Collingwood and Essendon at the MCG. Brownie, Das, Duck, Daisy, Robbo and Chu will all be there, and a big crowd as well. It's Cunningham from the right back pocket. Heads up the outer side. The back of the pack was Impey. He was taken out of it. Logan McDonald overruns it. Good pick up at ground level by Gordon. Now McDonald again has Parker inside the centre square. Clever ball wide to Gordon. On his left foot, searches for Franklin. He had his arms chopped. Frost didn't do a lot wrong, Kate, on the Harvey Norman replay. Just enough, though.
No, it was just Buddy playing in front there. As you play in front as a forward, you're probably more likely to get those. Just a bit of contact with the arm as we look at the Harvey Norman replay. But it was that change of angle, bringing it back out to the open side, which meant that the Hawthorns' defence couldn't set up with Sicily, who they like to use as the intercept marker. Basically went round him to create a one-on-one with Franklin.
How many goals in Launceston again, Heath? Triple M Red Z lending?
97 goals from his 28 games there, including his 13, his career high.
This for 98. 55 metres out. Starts it out to the left, and that's where it stays. And squeezes through for a behind. 1-1-7, the Swans. The Hawks 5-3-33. 6.5 remaining on the Triple MIJ Liquor scoreboard.
Sicily takes the kick in. Goes short and wide to Hardwick. And goes back to Sicily, the number one mark in the competition, James Sicily.
Yeah, number one mark in the competition, averaging 9 per game so far this season.
Well, that's a dangerous kick across the ground. He went looking for Tom Mitchell, picked off by McInerney, who's taken the mark right on the 50-metre line. Maybe just too far out to score. Hawks have got numbers back. Franklin trying to do a bit of work to get some separation. So Justin McInerney, one of these exciting youngsters for the Swans, just pokes it to about 30 out, but drifting across. Finn McGuinness taking a nice intercept mark.
Just probably didn't get as much purchase as he may have liked on that one. Probably wanted to chip it a little bit closer to the pocket where his forwards were set up.
The ball goes out of bounds, punched by Rampy right in front of Bryce Parker. We'll get down in for Bob Jane T-Marts.
Yeah, tremendous atmosphere down here today, guys. The full house sign is up at UTAS, and the Tassie Hawks have really turned out in force. But there is plenty of Swans fans, especially down the southern end of the ground.
Bob Jane T-Marts by a set of 4 monster wheels and off-road tyres, and Ensar to win an Austrac Telegraph ex-camper trailer.
Nicely done, Bryce. Nicely done, Joey. Nicely done, Hawks, in this opening quarter. They lead by 26. Ball inboard for Warner, who played on. Had no idea that Luke Bruce was standing next to him, was caught holding the ball. Now the Hawks try and build something from their back half. O'Meara has a fumble. Blakey burrows in, and McGuinness wraps him up straight away. Ball up inside the centre square.
Clearance still a concern for the Sydney Swans. They're losing that one 11-4 in favour of the Hawks.
A free kick going against Nash to Hayden McLean. And handball's off to Florent from the wing. Franklin used his body. 2 bites, got it. "40 metres out, almost directly in front." He's played that nicely.
He's looking good one-on-one with Frost. Obviously, if you can get it to Buddy when he's out on a lead, very hard to stop. That was a great kick. Just used his body and protected the drop of the ball really nicely there and got on the second bite.
Back into the team this week. He missed the one game with a finger injury, which is Pretty heavily taped up on his left hand. Might be affecting his ball drop. But that one works back. It had some work to do. Beautiful outswinger. Just caught the edge on the way through to the keeper. Swans get their second, 2-1-13. The Hawks 5-3-33 on the Triple M IGA Liquor scoreboard.
Yeah, well, that was a beautiful outswinger, as you said, Jack. I thought he'd missed it as it came off the boot, and then it swung late, but he's looking dangerous with that one-on-one matchup with Frost when they can isolate him and get him on a lead. When they have time to drop some defenders back, like Sicily sitting in the hole, that's when it looks easy for Hawthorn. But one-on-one, isolate Buddy wherever you can. Yeah,
Red Zone leading stats. I think Ryan Harris would be proud of that outswinger as well. But clearance, as Kate was saying, 11-5 Hawthorn's way. Sydney needed a response there. Their first goal from a stoppage. Hawthorn 3-3-21 so far this game in that regard.
Pick it back to 20 points, the Swans. Just saw then come to the bench. Buddy Franklin, Harvey Norman receive a bonus gift card on selected cooking appliances. Conditions apply as the Swans win another clearance. So they just got themselves back into the game. They go wide to Ronk, who feeds it back to Florent, and a nice kick on a long lead. Logan McDonald. Just outside 50 and up against the boundary line. So he's going to kick it to the top of the square. Where are the Flyers? It was only Connor Nash that came through with a big double fist. Got to Newcomb, who again continued on his form from last week. Fed it back to Scrimshaw, and they go even further back, that they release the kicker, and it's Hardwick, and he finds Dylan Moore. So Moore works it with Impey to get outside the defensive 50, and then a short kicking board finds the big man Lynch down low.
The Swans have up their pressure. There's so much less easy ball coming for Hawthorn at the moment, really putting the pressure under the kicker. As a result, have got a few turnovers from some sprayed kicks.
Speaking of sprayed kicks, this one hugs the boundary line as fisted out of bounds. Kate McCarthy, the Triple M Seabus Super Special comments, delivering consistent long-term returns for members. Seabus for all of us, a 20-point lead of the Hawks. Been going 26 and a half minutes in this opening quarter. How many disposals for John Newcomb in this opening term, Heath?
John Newcomb, equal most on the ground. He's the number one ranked player, 8 disposals, going at 100% by foot as well.
On the back of 31 last week, Impey caught holding the ball. Good tackle by Rowbottom. Has to go back over his mark on the broadcast wing. Hasn't got a lot to work with ahead. Keeps it low and flat. Lynch back in the hole. Takes a good mark. They look pretty organised defensively, the Hawks, Kate.
Yeah, it's just that ability for Sydney when they can switch lanes going in, or just take that extra kick a little bit more lateral or on the 45 before going inside 50, where they look far more dangerous. Whereas that time it was just a dump kick inside 50 and Lynch was back in the hole.
Hawks with a bit of a controlled build-up across half-back. Mitchell tried to turn it into fast play, but Scrimshaw didn't like his options, so went back to Granger Barras, and they go even further back to Frost. So still inside their defensive 50, and they come back to Scrimshaw. A nice bit of play here by the Hawks. Conceded the last 2 after kicking the first 5, and now Newcomb coming up for another disposal. Still back of the wing. Now he's going to kick for territory. Big pack of players. Staying down was Warple. Terrific crumb. Can he find another mark inside 50? Wingard in a one-on-one against Cunningham. He took the mark, and then he sees an option in board. It's risky, but it works. And he finds Finn McGuinness 30 out straight in front.
Geez, that was risky. I'm not sure why Chad Wingard didn't just go back and have the shot himself, but must have got a call from someone that McGuinness was on his own, so he turned and hit him up. But a beautiful crumb going inside 50 there.
So Finn McGuinness to kick the Hawks 6th. 30 out straight in front. Oh, he hooks it badly. It's a bad miss. Wingard probably would have been better in hindsight to snap around the body from that angle. So the Hawks 5-4-34, 2-1-13. We might go back down to the boundary line. Bob Jane T-Marts. Might be some big news down there, Bryce.
Yeah, Callum Mills came off the ground pointing to his upper leg. He got some treatment, he got some strapping, but he looks set to come back on.
It's good news for the Swans if he's coming back. Been one of their best players this season. Bryce Parker, boundary side for Bob Jane T-Mart as Blakey dashes through the middle. Kicks to 45 out from goal. The Hawks can mop this one up. Newcomb has to be quick. Handballed out into space, and the first one there's Franklin. Works back to Golden. 55 metres out. Squares it up to a dangerous area, but onto the chest of Frost.
That's Hawthorn's 6th intercept mark now for this game, 6-1 in favour of the Hawks in that stat.
10 inside 50s for 3 scores. They're normally pretty efficient going forward, the Swans, but not in this first quarter as O'Meara has it on defensive 50. 45 seconds left. The message has gone out to Hawthorn. They can just chip this around. Sicily missed the memo and just about missed his foot. Just kicked it out of bounds, and the Swans can get it back in play quickly. Franklin has Parker from right on 50. Up and under ball to the top of the goal square. McLean the target. No mark. Mitchell, last line of defence, got it to Frost. And it just bounces inside the field of play. He's been paid deliberate. Looked like more of a shank than a deliberate, wasn't it, Kate?
Yeah, I would have said that myself, Jack, but they've paid deliberate. There was also a couple of Hawthorn players pretty close to that ball when it did go out, so...
Desperately unlucky, Sam Frost, but now Florent, right forward pocket in the shadows of quarter time. Never really gave it a chance and slides it through for a minor score. They're 2-2-14, the Swans, on the Triple M RGA Liquor scoreboard. The Hawks will be more than happy to get to the quarter time break with his 20-point lead. So Will Day goes long to the point of the square, but the Swans might get one more chance. Goulden went short to Warner, got it back, runs to 40. This kid can kick a footy. And they get their 3rd in a row right on the quarter time siren. So after a blistering start from the Hawks that saw them pile on 5 goals in 12 minutes, Sydney have responded to kick the last 3. And at quarter time, it's Hawthorn 5-4-34, leading the Swans 3-2-20. Jack Everin, Kate McCarthy, Ethan Meldrum and Joey. Good game of footy at UTAS Stadium here on Anzac Day. It's the Hawks. They lead by 14 points. For McDonald's and Ream Hot Water, Triple M rocks footy.
That quarter for Beacon Trade, supporting tradies with over 120 stores, expert teams and a huge range of electrical products and services. Beacon makes every tradie's job easier.
For Ream Hot Water,
Triple M rocks footy.
Built tough for Aussie conditions. When it comes to water heating, ask your plumber to install a Ream.
Triple M is your home of the Marty Sheargold Show.
10:56. Supernova Crab Nebula.
Yeah.
Last seen by the naked eye.
Huh.
Well, where's it gone? To the shops.
Oh, God.
To the shops.
Silly.
It's just ridiculous. So ridiculous. Where's that supernova gone? It's gone up the shops.
The Marty Sheargold Show. Weekdays from 6 on Melbourne's 105.1 Triple M.
Build your new deck the smart way with Spec-Rite Merbu decking. Now available pre-oiled and ready to use, Spec-Rite Merbu makes the job easy and is perfect for Aussie conditions. Spec-Rite Merbu pre-oil decking. Available at Bunnings Warehouse.
To send our petrol prices skyrocketing.
Heating bills are set to surge.
And of course, gas prices are on the up.
Are winter gas bills on your mind? With Tango Energy's gas price lock, you can get our lowest gas rates locked in for 12 months. Because a little relief goes a long way. Head to tangoenergy.com. It only takes a few minutes to sign up. Eligibility criteria apply. Fact sheets available at tangoenergy.com. For clear advice on the right plan for you, contact us on 1-800-861-952.
Holidays are here, so keep the whole family happy these school holidays at Hoyts. Enjoy big savings with family of 3 and family of 4 tickets to the latest family movies. Book your tickets now at hoyts.com.au. T's and C's apply.
Hey, what you doing?
Checking out the new specials at bottomart.com.au.
Oh, have they still got my favourite Carlton Draft 24-pack for just $47.99?
Yeah, and check this out. Spend $25 or more on Jim Beam to enter the draw to win a Yeti cooler.
So I could grab one of those 700ml bottles of Jim Beam White Label for $39.99 for a chance to win.
Yeah, and my fave Jim Beam White and Cola 4.8% 10-pack is just $35.99.
Smash that order button. See website for T's and C's. 1 hour delivery available in selected areas. Download the Bottomart app.
A lot goes into 7-Eleven's Southern Fried Wrap with RSPCA approved crunchy chicken on a bed of crisp slaw and smoky chipotle mayo. 7-Eleven's wrap range, handmade and delivered daily.
Have you found yourself looking everywhere to find great value? Look no further than a Kogan Money credit card. 0 annual fees, tantalising rewards. Plus, if you meet the spend requirements, you can earn up to $400 in credit to spend on Kogan.com. Make the switch to a great value credit card at koganmoney.com.au. Offer ends April 30. T's and C's credit criteria, other fees and charges apply. Product issuer and credit provider, Citigroup Proprietary Limited.
Need a new hose, a pump, or maybe a new fridge for your caravan? We've even got those little thingamajigs you can't find anywhere else. So for all your caravan parts and accessories needs, see ourvanrv.com.au.
At Total Tools, we won't be beaten on low prices. Our Save Time, Save Money promo is on now. Work safer and smarter with the 6-in-1 Weeha lift-up insulated screwdriver with 6 bits. Only $99.95. Save over $20. Beat that! Our low prices on some of the world's biggest tool brands will not be beaten. Total Tools, low prices on every tool for every trade. Guaranteed. Shut up.
Triple M rocks footy.
This quarter for IGA Liquor, where good food deserves a great drop.
Ream Hot Water, built tough for Aussie conditions when it comes to water heating. Ask your plumber to install a Ream. Quarter time here at UTAS Stadium. Launceston sees the Hawks leading the Swans by 14 points, 5-4-34. Sydney 3-2-20. Jack Gunston kicked the opener. Jacob Kaczynski's got a couple. Dylan Moore, Chad Wingard. And Sydney, they kicked the last 3 goals of that first quarter. Callum Mills, Lance Franklin and Errol Goulden sees them back in the contest. I'm here with Kate McCarthy and Ethan Meldrum. Ethan, we spoke about the blistering start to the Hawks in that first term, but Sydney, they were able to get themselves back into the contest.
Yeah, they certainly were. Last 10 minutes, inside 50s, 10-2 Sydney's way. Forward half intercept 7-0 as well, so they would barricade it in their forward half a little bit more. What Hawthorn did well, though, is their work around the ground. Loose ball gets 20-9 their way, and the stoppages as well. 10-8, they ended up pretty even that term, but Hawthorn 3 goals, 3 from their 10 clearances so far, so they would generate a lot of scores from that part of the ground. Leading ball winners so far, Tom Mitchell 12 disposals, Scrimshaw 11, John Newcomb 10, number 1 ranked player on the ground, and for the Swans, Franklin, Goulden, Lloyd 7 apiece.
Kate McCarthy, what did you make of that first term?
Yeah, I think it was a bit of a tale of two halves of that first quarter. Hawthorn started really well. Their pressure was elite. At one point, clearances, they were up 11-4, I believe, and then they got the 3 goals from the stoppage as well. But to get back into the game, Sydney just were able to possess the ball a little bit more, get a bit more field position, and then lock it inside their half as well, and generate a bit more forward pressure. And once they kept the ball inside their forward half, they were able to generate the 3 goals as well. But Hawthorn, their pressure was hot early, and they started really well in that quarter.
Here's Jack Heverin to get us underway. Second term here at UTAS Stadium.
For McDonald's and Ream Hot Water, Triple M rocks footy. Thank you, Joey. 14-point lead to the Hawks. Lynch has made a good start to this game in the ruck. And free kick for a hold. Going to Justin McInerney of the Swans. He chips wide. Mills. He came off in that first quarter with a hamstring issue. Kicks deep. Franklin marks uncontested. 20 out directly in front.
Well, he said before the game how much he likes this stadium, and he's looking the goods early. He's taken 3 marks now for the game and had a couple of shots at goal, just kicked the 1 goal, but this one lining up for his second. And when Buddy's flying at the footy and taking clean marks like that, it's ominous.
Triple M Harvey Norman replay. No one was near him. He's only kicked 1,005 goals. It's pretty hard to miss. Directly in front. Misses. 1 goal, 2 for the afternoon. 3-3-21 of the Swans. The Hawks 5-4-34. Triple M Beacon Trade scoreboard. Supporting tradies with over 120 stores, expert teams and a huge range of electrical products and services. Beacon makes every tradie's job easier.
Hardwick does the kick in, goes long, point of the square. Paddy McCartan did well, won the footy back for the Swans, got it to Bell, whose handball missed Franklin, and went straight to Sicily. We got it to Morrison. Franklin put in a good chase, but Morrison did well, arched the back, did a little 360, and then kicks it to the wing, where Paddy McCartan again takes the intercept mark, although there's been a block paid off the ball. So it was Laddams who tried to shepherd out Gunston. Jake Lloyd wasn't sure whose free kick it was, so eventually it gets to Gunston on the wing.
Well, Laddams was pretty unlucky there, having a look at the Harvey. Oh, no, he did just take a look at Gunston. If he didn't turn his back on the play and just went back with the flight, he would have been fine, but taking his eye off the ball. As soon as the umpires see that, they pay a free.
There's the Harvey Norman replay. Harvey Norman receive a bonus gift card on selected cooking appliances. Conditions apply. The kick from Scrimshaw goes deep into the pocket. This time, if Paddy doesn't get you, Tom McCartan will. Takes another intercept mark. Yeah, switch it across the ground to find Lloyd. He's got Blakey running past, but on his wrong side, so he's able to straighten up, go on the left boot, go towards the wing towards Heaney, who hardly sided in this first quarter and a bit. Ethan, Isaac Heaney?
Yeah, Isaac Heaney, just the 3 handballs so far, yet to hit the scoreboard. Number 1 ranked player in the competition due to Champion Data's AFL player ratings as well, so he's having a big season but been quiet today.
Ethan Meldrum, all the Triple M Red Z lending stats. Go to the other end. A couple of major ball winners for the Swans.
Major ball winners for the Swans so far. Jake Lloyd, 8, and Lance Franklin, 8 disposals so far. 5 of those in the forward 50 as well. Been dangerous.
Mills pushing in the ground. That'll be a free kick. Broadcast wing. He looks now for Heaney. Used his body perfectly. Should get a free kick. Impey chopped his arms on the way through. Warner takes the advantage. Chipped it to McLean in the goal square, but Scrimshaw chimes across and takes a really good grab.
And well there, the Hawks. Morrison. That's a dangerous kick. Goes straight up the corridor out of defence. Swans were all over it. Cunningham got the fist down. Ronk picks it up, throws it on the boot. And the kick only as far as Frost, who sometimes makes the easy look difficult, as he did on that occasion. Took the chest mark though and played on and found Big Max Lynch on his own. Back of the wing. It's a good kick. Oh, he had Kaczynski running at the footy. O'Meara running away from the ball, and they collide into each other, and the ball goes out of bounds. Luckily, they're both okay, but squandered a chance to go inside 50 again.
Been impressive so far this afternoon, Max Lynch. He's been all around the ground, been really competitive in the ruck contests, and also taken a number of intercept marks, getting back to help out his defence.
Must be something about ruckman. They're just rare beasts, because Max Lynch and Peter Laddams are 2 of the more different-looking humans playing footy right now. For a whole bunch of different reasons. Hayward tackled when he didn't have it. Umpire said play on. Now Scrimshaw picks it up, takes that advantage. Kaczynski crunches McCartan on the way through. There'll be a whistle off the ball to be holding the ball, but Paddy McCartan stood in the hole and got poleaxed and has lived to tell the tale.
I think we all hold our breath a little bit whenever Paddy McCartan goes down after what seems like a bit of a head knock or a potential head knock. His brother Tom had no concern for anything but his brother then as soon as he went down, but thank gosh he's gotten up and he looks to be okay.
It was actually Kaczynski, the meat and the McCartan sandwich, that's slow to get to his feet. He's still on the ground as the Hawks win the ball back. Tumbles inside 50. Paddy McCartan's there. Good to see him back out. Rampy might have been ping holding the ball. Umpire said no. Hawks trying to lock it in. Swans have got the extra numbers, but Hawthorn, now they come in numbers. They win it back. This will be a great team goal. Great forward pressure from the Hawks to keep that ball alive. They won it back, and young Conor McDonald gets the first of the second term. They go to 6-4-40. Sydney 3-3-21. Back to 19 points. As we look at Jacob Kaczynski on the Harvey Norman replay, still slow to get to his feet in that heavy collision a few moments ago.
Yeah, well, you said it yourself, Joey. It was just forward pressure that willed the ball forward. They kept making a scrap. It was actually a 3-on-2 in Sydney's favour. They got extra numbers to the contest, and Wingard laid a couple of good efforts. Then it just fell in the lap of Conor McDonald, who'd run a little bit forward of the play and ended up finishing beautifully with a snap over his shoulder.
And the Swans are dominating at ground level as well. Loose ball gets 24-12 their way. Conor McDonald goaling from that source then.
Bryce Parker for Bob Jane T-Marts.
Yeah, Kaczynski just got off the ground. He jogged off under his own power, but he is in the arms of the doctors at the moment.
Bob Jane T-Marts by a set of 4 monster wheels and off-road tyres and enter to win an Austrac Telegraph X camper trailer. And we're back in the middle. As Joey said, a great goal for the Hawks. Against the flow a little. They lead by 19 points. McDonald's and Ream Hotwater. Triple M Rocks footy. Morrison and McInerney contest on the outer side wing. Morrison got that handball away. Mitchell pushed into the ground. No free kick coming. Quick hands by Parker was good. And Laddams just as good. Works it back to Braden Campbell. At left half back. Kick will be okay for Rowbottom. Stood up in the tackle. Now Parker stops, props and thinks his way through. Uses Mills and back to Rowbottom, who was stripped by Bruce. He got it back and then misses the target by hand. Might work out all right. Good pick up at ground level by Florent. Got it to McInerney, who was pushed as he kicked. Frost dropped the mark at the top of the goal square.
They're not out of danger yet, the Hawks. Ball bouncing around. Hardwick tracks it back. It fell off the chest of Sicily, and eventually they survive as Hardwick uses McGuinness in the back pocket. Gee, it's amazing how players don't know that when it's in the goal square, they are allowed to take it through. They try their hardest these days not to. So the kick goes outside defensive 50. Big Max Lynch got both hands to it, couldn't take the mark. Warner picks it up at ground level. They flick it around by hands. Here the Swans inside 50. McLean has time to snap. And the Swans get the reply. Big Hayden McLean. Sydney got their fourth. They go 4-3-27. Hawks 6-4-40. 7.5 minutes played, second term. Triple M Beacon Trade scoreboard.
Yeah, ball just turned over a little bit quick for Hawthorn's defence to be properly organised. Chad Warner, really good play, took on a couple of players and broke a line. As a result, they had a bit of an overlap inside their forward 50. Sydney's pressure this quarter, though, really high. What is that one on the Red Z Lending stats, Heath?
Yeah, Red Z Lending, they've worked it right up to 16. Sydney's pressure factor so far this quarter. Hawthorn, on the other hand, they've dropped down to 165, below the AFL average.
13-point lead to Hawthorn now as Hayden McLean kicks his first and his ninth of the season. Starting to find a nice home as that forward and relief ruck. From McDonald's and Ream Hot Water. Triple M Rocks footy, University of Tasmania Stadium in Launceston. Laddams out of the ruck and drives deep quickly. Scrimshaw didn't read it out of the air coming in. And push in the back. A free kick to Granger Barras. He looks to the outer side. As Hawthorn try and build. Laddams came across, playing inspired footy in the second quarter. Smacks it down to McInerney, who drilled a pass to McLean. He dropped it. Now handballs back to Mills from right on 50. That hits the behind post. But it's all Sydney in this second term. They trail by 13 points on the Triple M Beacon Trade scoreboard.
And Red Z Lending stats, all Callum Mills in this term as well. 6 disposals in 9 minutes. Number 1 ranked player on the ground at the moment.
Yeah, that groin looks to be okay. She's seen some drop chest marks in this quarter. Perfect conditions in Launceston. Scrimshaw, who's having a good afternoon. Kicks to a big pack of players on the wing. Young Ward coughed up the handball. There's Mills again, going to get another free kick. So point of the square, half forward, wastes no time because he sees the 2-on-2. Big McLean went with the one arm, couldn't take the mark. Granger Barras got to be careful here, he dived on it. Franklin was quick to jump on top to get the free kick. He sniffed out of holding the ball. The umpire gave the benefit of the doubt. So it'll be thrown up top of the square.
Seen worse ones than that paid this year. He dropped the mark and then dragged it straight under.
Oh, Laddams tried the, what's that, the Kung Fu, the Daniel Wells style goal. What do you call that?
The Karate Kid.
The Karate Kid. Grabbed it out of mid-air and tried to throw it on the boot before he landed. Didn't pull it off as well as Daniel Wells all those years ago. And another throw up, top of the square. McLean taking in a good tackle. And O'Meara picks up the ball and goes towards, Dylan Moore. What a ride, taking a nice hanger. And then quickly gets the ball moving. And the Hawks have got some running carry on the outer wing. Morrison takes a bounce. Moore continue to run on. Gets involved. Can he find a player inside 50? He had 2 Hawks, but he picked out Nick Blakey.
Morrison's been good this quarter so far on the wing for the Hawks, just patrolling up and down and being a really nice link player between their defensive 50 and forward 50.
Kate McCarthy, all the Triple M C-Bus super special comments. 13-point lead to Hawthorn. The centre half back. This marked by Will Day. Chimed in and took a good mark. Didn't play last week due to concussion protocols. Sicily makes Hardwick work for it inside defensive 50. Uses Finn McGuinness on the way out. His kick smothered. Just as they were starting to build something up, they get a boundary throw in. Broadcast side, not far from where Bryce Parker's sitting for Bob Jane Teamarts. The Hawks 6-4-40. Sydney 4-3-27. 11 minutes gone in the second quarter on Anzac Day. Good to see Jacob Kaczynski back out on the field. Throw in, clearance won by the Swans. Goulden, Parker, and now Lloyd. That customary stands and kicks towards half forward. Warner, again a nice front and square. Gave it to Ronk, who sees a player on the top of the 50. Good kick, finds Hayward. So Will Hayward wants to go to Franklin. It's been a good matchup with Frost. Goes over both their heads and the ball will trickle out of bounds. Both had their moments in this first quarter and a half, Franklin and Frost. We'll take a look at the Triple M Harvey Norman replay. That nice hanger from Dylan Moore. Got up high, sat on the shoulders of McInerney. Just a pretty stock standard hanger. Not that I ever took anything anywhere like that.
I can't help you.
No. From the throw in, Rowbottom throws it on the boot, kicks it behind. 4-4-28 are the Swans. The Hawks 6-4-40. And we've played 12 minutes in this second term.
What about you, Kate? Ever saw that high?
No, unfortunately not.
He made it look real easy, didn't it?
Yeah.
Not that hard.
McInerney wasn't so keen. Got a knee right in the back of the head. Lynch marks the long kick out of defence. His second game of the year since crossing over from the Pies. Played round one and then got a bad concussion. Scrubby kick going forward. Paddy McCartan stood in the hole again. Looks to be a bit sore trying to get up as well. Gunston stood up in the tackle. Parker karate kicks it out of the air. The wall's set up. Granger Barras is going to put it straight back in deep for the Hawks. Kaczynski the target. Created a good contest. Wingard rode the bump. Now Moore went to ground. Looking for the free kick. Handballs to McGuinness. And he's taken to the boundary line by Braden Campbell. Throw in. Left forward pocket.
Gee, Paddy McCartan's too tough for his own good. Another heavy collision. He was sore. And then he just jumped back to his feet and was almost going to throw himself into another contest. So throw in inside 50 for the Hawks. Another clearance won by the Swans. McInerney goes to the open side of the ground. Will Hayward couldn't take the mark. Dispossessed from Morrison. Did well. And then Newcomb comes in and supports. And in the end, we get a ball up inside the centre square. Swans trailing by 12 points. They were down by as much as 32 points after the Hawks kicked the first 5 goals in that first term. It's been a good battle since. They'll have a secondary stoppage again.
Still to come today, Collingwood and Essendon at the MCG. Choice hotels around the grounds. Big crowd expected. On a big, big day in Australia's history. Lloyd from halfback for the Swans. Looks for the wing. Bell was his target. Scrimshaw, who's been good so far in this one, knocks it out of bounds for a throw in. Triple M Beacon Trade scoreboard. Hawthorn 6-4-40. The Swans 4-4-28. A goal apiece in this second quarter as it's thrown back in. Adams doing the ruck work with Nash. Won that down to Mills, who kicks around the corner towards the tip of 50. Hayden McLean marks with one hand and then gave a quick handball to Rowbottom, who kicks from the right forward pocket towards the top of the goals. Hawthorn have been clean in defence. Frost can use more on the way out.
They missed a few opportunities this second quarter, the Swans, and they used the hands well. Moore, Frost, back to Dylan Moore, having some impact, and he has a player free. It's Bruce, and he has Connor Nash running past. Half forward, can he find a mark inside 50? Oh, he can, because Tom Mitchell slipped goal side out the back, and then from about 10 metres out, tried to grab one along the ground and missed it. Bad miss. Probably didn't even need to play on Mitchell. There was a certain goal gone begging. And the Hawks now 6-5-41. Sydney 4-4-28.
Would have been a huge team lifter for them as well. It would have been a coast-to-coast goal when Sydney looked ominous down one end. But you said, Jack, their defence has been really strong this game. They're just getting numbers back and just really flooding their defensive 50 line, and the Swans, as a result, aren't able to penetrate and score.
Does the Chiefs still have the dribble file on the bench?
Not anymore, but he'll be angry. He'll be fuming.
That would cop an all-time cook. Tom Mitchell, you're a very lucky man. Sicily. Gave the handball, it was coughed up. Mills on the turnover now. Pops a pass over the top for Logan McDonald to the wing. Looks for Franklin and finds him. Pretty sure he won't be playing on or giving it off.
He's done the polite thing as a key forward. He's pretended to look around and not seen any options he wants. I don't think he actually had his eyes open while he was looking around. He was never going to do anything but take this back and have a set shot here.
1-2 for the afternoon. He'll kick from right on 50. Pretty much directly in front to the city end. This to bring it back inside single figures for the first time in a long time. Franklin trying to bend it back, and it doesn't. It hangs out there to the left. 4-5-29, the Swans.
The Hawks 6-5-41, Triple M Beacon Trade scoreboard.
Red Z lending stats, Callum Mills having himself some sort of a quarter already, 16 minutes in, 10 disposals, 4 contest possessions, 3 intercept possessions and a couple of score involvements.
Ethan, at one stage was the clearances, did you say 11-4 in favour of the Hawks?
Yeah, it certainly was, but this term it's flipped 9-2 Sydney's way.
So overall now Sydney winning the clearance battle. So they've got that game back on their terms, which is their strength, as the kick goes to the wing. Won by the Swans. Blakey, Lloyd, put McLean under pressure with that handball. Good tackle, Conor Nash. And he's going to get a free kick holding the ball. So Conor Nash just back of the wing. Broadcast side. Hawks lead by 12 points. Tick under 8 minutes to go in the half. He's going to go back to Frost inside the defensive 50. And he goes back to where it came from, this time to Granger Barras. Some more of the numbers, Ethan, in the second quarter that are standing out.
Yeah, it's Hawthorn's intercept mark game that's really held them in good stead so far this game. 10-2, they lead that stat. Sam Frost leading the way in that regard. He's already taken the 3 against Lance Franklin.
They switch the ball to the wing, and Will Day's got a bit of time and space now to go towards Bruce inside 50, but Rampy worked him under the ball, took an intercept mark, did it nicely.
Their 10th of the game. Sydney's Rampy from the left-back pocket, long up the line. Logan McDonald could have been paid the mark. He thought he had enough of it. And it does well to pick it up off his ankles. Handballs to McInerney. It's the kick around the corner, but to a 3-on-1. And Hawthorn, with all of their numbers set up, take a comfortable mark through Frost. Goes back to Sicily. Now they'll try and build it up from the broadcast side. McGuinness, one of the inclusions this week, has Conor Mcdonald, Joey. He's got some serious talent, this young man. Picked 26 in last year's draft.
Yeah, just a natural footballer. That was all the talk coming out of under 18. Just knows how to play, and we've seen it straight away at AFL level, although that kick went inboard, cut off by Mills. Ethan's told us, having a huge quarter. He goes into the corridor to Parker. Gives it back to Mills. So inside the centre circle, he's got a one-on-one at Sicily and Ronk. Sicily liked that matchup, and he won out. And they'll get it moving again, the Hawks. So they are playing a lot of this quarter in their back half, Hawthorn, as we sort of felt the game would pan out. They're not getting scored against too much, though. They've kept the Swans to 4 goals. That kick's going to be turned over. The Hawks are going to get another free kick, though. Going to come back to Dylan Moore. Well, he took a nice specky earlier in this second quarter. He goes inboard to Hardwick.
He wastes no time. Kicks deep. Paddy McCartan playing in front of Gunston. Dropped the mark. Had Gunston cold. Opened the door for Bruce. To shovels a handball to Mitchell from 40 out. Rolls the ball off his instep. Rampy picks it up. Lost it. Bruce, right place, right time. Kicks his first. And Hawthorn 7th. They're 7-5-47. Sydney 4-5-29 on the Triple M Beacon Trade scoreboard, supporting tradies with over 120 stores, expert teams and a huge range of electrical products and services. Beacon makes every tradie's job easier.
Just some more good forward pressure from Hawthorn. Got the ball in. It was a scrubby kick from Tom Mitchell. Definitely not what he intended. And then Jai Newcomb probably could have earned himself a free kick with a really good tackle. It ended up spilling out from Rampy, and then it was Bruce that got on the end of it and ended up kicking a goal, but Newcomb, good forward pressure from him.
He's talking about those tackles. When the tackles stick, it makes such a big difference. It was a great tackle from John Newcomb.
And Red Z lending stats, Hawks getting it in dangerous spots as well. Number 1 in the league for scoring from inside 30 metres. Already 5 of their 7 goals inside that 30-metre region. Swans just the 1.
McDonald's and Ream hot water. Triple M rocks footy. O'Meara's going to get a free kick. Pushed as he won that centre clearance, so it'll come back. Been better today, Jagger O'Meara. Ethan?
Yeah, Red Z lending stats. Jager O'Meara so far today has had the 6 disposals, 4 clearances as well.
4 clearances, and the ball goes from McDonald to Scrimshaw. He goes on the opposite boot, went to young Josh Ward, and he was tackled as well, dispossessed, holding the ball. Luke Parker.
Does anything need to change drastically for the Swans, Kate, or are they just being outplayed at the moment?
I think when they get the ball inside forward 50, just trying to lower the eyes a little bit or hit up a target more than just bomb it long like they have been. This time they go in, but it's a one-on-one with Franklin.
He's out the back. He kicks it off the ground. He had time to pick it up. Not sure that he knew that, no.
There's nothing wrong with going long one-on-one. That time it was Franklin had a one out. That's good. Give it to your key forward when he is one-on-one. But other times they've kicked it in long when it's just been an outnumber to Hawthorn. As a result, Hawthorn have taken the intercept mark and just slingshotted back the other way.
1-4 now to Buddy in this first half. Mitchell goes short to Newcomb. Defensive 50. Half-back flank. Hawthorn by 17 points. Just over 4 minutes left before half-time. Finds Conor Mcdonald. And that's a better kick. Goes out wide to Finn McGuinness. So they've worked themselves up to the half-forward flank, out of side Utah Stadium. And McGuinness will kick it inside 50. Gunston worked under the footy. Kaczynski might have got a free kick over the shoulder. Umpire said no. Ground ball now. Logan McDonald on hands and knees. Brewster's trying to lock it into him. Thought he did it pretty cleverly. The umpire didn't bite. Ball up, 40 out.
A little over 3.5 minutes before three-quarter time. 17-point lead to the Hawks. Come to play in their home away from home in Launceston. Heaney taken out on the wing. Good contest by Granger Barash. Now Haywood against the boundary line. Handballs back to Cunningham, who loads up. Every player looking into the sun. That awkward afternoon sun. Heaney off to Franklin. Clever. Short kick. Parker. 60 metres out, I should say. Looks inboard and finds Logan McDonald. Takes a nice mark. Yeah, he's the best part of 40 metres out.
Great centering ball from Franklin, but Isaac Heaney, a couple of really big second efforts. He was taken to ground over here, trying to compete for the footy, got straight back to his feet and then moved up the ground forward, got the ball out to Buddy Franklin, but just lowering the eyes going forward, a lot more effective for the Swans on this occasion.
2 goals in the first half last week against the West Coast Eagles, Logan McDonald. A chance for his first now. And that stays out to the left as well. They've left a few out there in this second quarter, the Swans. They trail by 16 points for Ream Hot Water, built tough for Aussie conditions. When it comes to water heating, ask your plumber to install a Ream.
15 inside 50s for just 1 goal. The Swans in his second term. That's a nice kick in. Finds Sicily outside defensive 50. Already taken 8 marks as James Sicily. And his kick's a long one towards half forward. Gunston didn't take possession, tried to put it into the path of O'Meara, who's taken up in a strong tackle from Dane Rampy. 2 minutes left in the half. Hawks by 16 after leading by 14 at quarter time. 2 goal to 1 quarter. Laddams tried to grab it out at the ruck, did in the end, and flipped out a handball to McInerney, who turns and comes back into the corridor. Made Blakey work for it, but brought it down with the one arm. And lopes through the middle and drills a low ball, finds Warner. Just next to the centre circle, wanted it back Blakey. Warner instead's going to go slow and short. Parker, not 15, so had to give it back to Warner. He puts a little step on and then finds Laddams, true centre half forward. What are his options inside 50? He sees something he likes in the pocket. It's a one-on-one. It's Heaney versus Hardwick. Well done, Hardwick. And then Frost came across as well, chopped it out. The kick picked off by Goulden.
It's going to come back in. Goulden lowers his eyes, just like you said, Kate, and has Ronk on the lead.
Yeah, it was just that ability to set up when the ball went inside 50 for the Swans, and Goulden was set up really nicely just outside 50, ended up getting the scrap kick and then kicked it back inside to Ronk. But we saw again they went long and high from Laddams. Frost was able to peel off his opponent and help out and create a 2-on-1.
With less than a minute before half-time, they've missed another one. Ronk to the other side has missed everything. Out of bounds on the full. 4-7 to 7-5. They trail by 16 points. This game could look a lot different going into half-time.
Yeah, Red Z leading stats. That's 8 set shots on goal for Sydney. 1 goal, 5 from those 8.
Yeah, they've kicked 1 goal, 5 this quarter and a couple out on the full. So can they hang on for 30 more seconds, the Hawks? They'd love to have a 16-point lead at half-time, although they're fiddling around with it. Warpool's going to get pinged. holding the ball. Logan McDonald to chase down from behind. And this might be the last kick of the half. It's going to be a tough ask because he'll be kicking it right on the 50-metre line, only 5 metres inside the boundary. Wrong side for a right footer, but he's a highly talented player.
I think he just got the word from the bench too that there was 10 seconds left, so he'll take this back, take all the time that he can and go straight over the mark. This is a really important kick.
So they've missed some easy ones in this second quarter. Can they kick the hard one? Logan McDonald just inside 50. Starts it at the left post, stays out there. Another point to finish the half for the Swans. 1 goal, 6 and a couple out of bounds on the full. The Hawks were able to kick 2 goals, one themselves. And they'll take a 15-point lead in at halftime. They're 7-5, 47. Sydney 4-8, 32. Good game of footy here, UTAS Stadium. Anzac Day for McDonald's and Ream Hot Water. Triple M rocks footy.
That quarter for IGA Liquor, where good food deserves a great drop.
For McDonald's.
Triple M rocks footy.
Kick off game day with Macca's Chicken Deluxe range. Order via McDelivery. Straight after this game, join the Temper Mattress call team for the traditional Anzac Day clash between the Bombers and Pies.
Game on, Anzac Day. MCG erupts.
For Ream Hot Water and McDonald's, Triple M rocks footy.
If you've had something stolen,
or if you've had property damaged, you need the police, not the sirens. If you've lost something or found something valuable,
or if you want to register a party or let us know you're going away on holiday, you need the police, not the sirens. When you need the police, but not the sirens, you can now report these incidents online at police.vic.gov.au or call 131 444.
Authorised by the Victorian Government, Melbourne.
At Total Tools, we won't be beaten on low prices. Our Save Time, Save Money promo is on now. See more while you weld with the Michigan Pro Extra Large View Welding Helmet. Just $199. Save $40. Beat that! Our low prices on some of the world's biggest tool brands will not be beaten. We can't be beaten. Total Tools. Low prices on every tool for every trade. Guaranteed.
When you need a truck to get the job done smoothly, the automatic choice is Hino. For a limited time only, pick up a Hino 300 Series Auto for the same price as a manual. Plus, get 5 years extended warranty and 5 years roadside assist. The Hino 300 Series sets the safety, performance and efficiency benchmark of what to expect from a light-duty truck. And with deals like these, you can't afford to miss out. Visit hino.com.au. Offer ends June 30, 2022. Terms and conditions apply.
Is your unused car costing you money? Rego, insurance, maintenance, it all adds up. If you'd rather turn your car into cash, sellmycar.com.au is the answer. Don't waste time trying to sell privately and forget inviting complete strangers to your house for a test drive. Avoid the hassle and the contact and go to sellmycar.com.au. Get an estimate, make an appointment and they'll buy your car on the spot. You'll even have the money in your bank the next day.
LMCT 11373. Have you found yourself looking everywhere to find great value? Look no further than a Kogan Money credit card. 0 annual fees, tantalising rewards. Plus, if you meet the spend requirements, you can earn up to $400 in credit to spend on Kogan.com. Make the switch to a great value credit card at koganmoney.com.au. Offer ends April 30. T's and C's credit criteria, other fees and charges apply. Product issuer and credit provider, Citigroup Proprietary Limited.
The sounds you hear are of jaws hitting the ground when people see IMB Bank's lowest ever advertised budget home loan rate, with no application fees and no monthly or annual fees. And that is the sound of someone getting this jaw-droppingly low rate from IMB Bank. Visit imb.com.au to apply from home yourself or call 133 462 and we'll have a lender come to you. Eligibility, lending criteria, other fees and charges, T's and C's apply. Limited time only.
Straight after this game, join the Temper Mattress call team for the traditional Anzac Day clash between the Bombers and Pies.
Game on, Anzac Day. MCG erupts.
For Ream Hot Water and McDonald's, Triple M rocks footy.
Shut up. The footy's on Triple M.
Triple M rocks footy.
This halftime break for Bosch 18-volt bi-turbo brushless tools. One battery, corded power, backed by a 6-year warranty guarantee.
It's half-time at Launceston. 7-5-47 the Hawks. Sydney 4-8-32. 2 goals to Jacob Kazitsky. Is their only multiple goal kicker. And for the Swans, only singles as well. But the behinds are the big story for them, Kate McCarthy. For McDonald's and Ream Hotwater, Triple M Rocks footy 4-8. It could have looked a whole lot different. And this game itself could have looked a whole lot different at halftime.
Yeah, well, I'm sure Heath will tell us that the stats were probably all in Sydney's favour for that quarter. But at the end of the day, they kicked 1 goal 6 compared to Hawthorn kicking 2 goals 1 for the quarter, which meant that Hawthorn actually extended their lead to 15 points. So going into half-time, I think it's not only they were fairly easy, some of the shots that they did miss, some of them more difficult, but Buddy's kicked 1 goal 4. He could have had a bit of an afternoon out so far in this game, but yeah, they did everything they could to get back in this game, and it was just their inaccuracy in front of goal that really cost them.
Yeah, so I think you've got to look at the positive. Sydney got the game on their terms, so that they are now playing the game that they want to play. Yes, they weren't able to capitalise on the scoreboard, but you feel, and they will feel at half-time, if they can continue with that, and that started with getting some more clearances, getting it in their front half and giving themselves chances, I think they'd be pretty confident despite being 2.5 goals down. On the flip side, the Hawks can say, well, Sydney really dominated us that quarter, and we're able to, keep them off, keep this 15-point lead. So they'll also be going in at half-time thinking, okay, we need to get back to what we did in that first quarter, get our hands on the clearances, get it played in our front half, because when they were playing it in their front half, the Hawks, their pressure was causing Sydney defenders some issues, and they were able to turn the ball over and score. So, again, like a lot of games, whichever team can get that ascendancy and play it in their front half, they look much more threatening.
17th in the comp for clearances, Hawthorn coming into this game. When Alistair Clarkson was coaching the Hawks, he always kind of said, well, clearances, it is what it is. We'll try and win it in other parts. But new team, new look at things. Is it a problem for them? Is it something they're going to need to put some work into?
Yeah, it is. It's an issue, and it is a personnel issue, I think, as well. I mean, as much as Tom Mitchell's a Brownlow medalist and is a great player, they probably just don't have the depth of quality that most of the other sides in the competition now have. I mean, you're not being disrespectful to John Newcomb and even Jager O'Meara and these guys, but now every team's midfield is so stacked. So they just struggle, coming up against the really strong, but they're working themselves into it pretty well. Last week they were excellent, and I think for most parts of this first half, they've been strong again. Tom Mitchell's been back to his Brownlow best. I've loved the way he's played, and Newcomb continues to develop.
And you can see it's obviously something that they have put time into during the week and the week before that, considering how they played last week. But they came out this week and had real ascendancy in the midfield. They won the first, I think, 5 or 6 centre clearances, got the ball inside their half. So it's something they're definitely working on. It's just whether or not they can sustain that over the entire game, which we've seen it's drop away in the second quarter. Sydney have got back on top here. So can they come out in the third quarter, put that pressure on and win some of those stoppages like they have been?
It's the halftime break for Bosch Power Tools. Bosch 18-volt bi-turbo brushless tools, 1 battery, corded power, backed by a 6-year warranty guarantee. It's Hawthorn leading by 15 points. Ethan Meldrum, some of the major stats from the first half.
Yeah, well, Kate was right. A lot of the numbers in Sydney's favour in that second term. Clearances 11-3 Sydney's way. They dominated around the ball, contested ball, they were plus 12. Tackles as well, they were plus 8. Really lifted their pressure. Issues the goal kicking. 1 goal 6 from their set shots so far from 9 set shots. Hawthorn 3 goals 3. Just looking a little bit at the shot location though. Hawthorn 5 goals 1 from inside 30 metres. Sydney just the 1 goal. So I reckon if you do a bit of a sort of expected score sort of situation, Hawks might still be in front despite the accuracy. Sydney with a lot of sort of more difficult shots on goal from like outside 40 metres, I suppose. Leading ball winners on the ground. Scrimshaw, 18 touches for the Hawks. He's their number 1 ranked player. Mitchell, 16. Sicily, 13 as well for the Swans. Callum Mills, 16 disposals, 12 in that term, 10 contested, 83% by foot and a goal. Number 1 ranked player on the ground. Closely behind, Luke Parker, 16 disposals as well, 11 in that term as well.
It's the halftime Amy Clanger segment where we all just start to sweat just a little bit, get a little bit nervy. We do a bit of a stock take and check did any of us make any major stuff-ups in the first half. Who covers Clangers on and off the field? Amy does.
Oh, Laddams tried what's that, the Kung Fu, the Daniel Wells style goal. What do you call that?
The Karate Kid.
The Karate Kid. Grabbed it out of mid-air and tried to throw it on the boot before he landed. Couldn't pull it off as well as Daniel Wells all those years ago.
Peter Laddams is our halftime clanger, Joey. Not you. You spot on.
I think it was the Jackie Chan was what I was trying to get. I think that was the call, the commentary at the time when Daniel Wells did that famous goal of the year out of midair, the Jackie Chan. Didn't quite get that
You just
out.
got your martial artist mixed up, did you? Daniel Wells and Jackie Chan. Choice Hotels around the grounds need to come a little bit later on. Need a break, book direct and save with Choice Hotels. ChoiceHotels.com. Where are we headed to next?
Yeah, straight after this, the Anzac Day clash between Essendon and Collingwood. Jake Stringer and Zach Merritt both look like they're going to play that game as well. Zach Merritt, 29 days since he had syndesmosis in his ankle. It's a terrific turnaround if he's, if he's officially named, which it sounds like he will be.
Is it a gamble? Is it a gamble to take on a day like this, or is it a gamble worth taking when it's Zach Merritt?
I think maybe that's just where they're at. I think they need to throw everything at this game, otherwise their season's over. So maybe it is a gamble, but obviously a calculated risk. You're not going to risk a play of his quality with that sort of injury, but it is unusual to come back that quick. But I think that's going to be an unbelievable game. I think Essendon are a real chance. I think it's the emotional response that we expect from them, from the week that they've had and how much they copped it. They have to do nothing but show up and fight in this game, and I think they'll take it right up to the Pies.
Yeah, and we always see such a great battle on Anzac Day between those two great clubs, so I think Essendon will respond. But Zach Merritt, I don't think they'd risk him if he wasn't right. He would have passed all the tests that he needed. It's round 6 after all. If it was maybe later in the season, we could say maybe he's not right, but I would say he's definitely passed all the tests. He must be good to go if they've played him this early on.
Tough time between the Hawks and the Swans. It's Hawthorn who lead by 15 points, 7-5-47 to 4-8-32. Joey Montagna, Kate McCarthy, Ethan Meldrum, Bryce Parker and Jack Heverin on Anzac Day footy for McDonald's and Ream Hot Water. Triple M rocks footy.
That halftime break for Bosch 18-volt bi-turbo brushless tools. 1 battery, corded power. Backed by a 6-year warranty guarantee.
For Ream Hot Water and McDonald's.
Triple M rocks footy.
Triple M's tickets or crickets. It's a great way to write off our office bug infestation on tax. Yes it is.
Rob from Seville. 2 tickets to Guns N' Roses live at the MCG.
Wow.
What a concert!
Fantastic.
We're not going with another spin, are we?
No, I'm happy with that.
Yeah.
Thank you very much.
Get the Second Chance code word 7:30 and 8:30 weekdays with Triple M's Marty Sheargold Show, and listen all day to Spin the Wheel, tickets or crickets on 105.1 Triple M.
Save time and money on the job site with Total Tools. New offers out now. Get the job done with Milwaukee 5-piece fuel combo kit for just $1,699. Plus, get 2 free batteries worth $348 on us. That's 4 batteries in your kit. Work safer and smarter with the 6-in-1 Weeha lift-up insulated screwdriver with 6 bits. Only $99.95. Save over $20. Beat that. Check out our time and money saving tips at totaltools.com.au or check out our YouTube channel now. Total Tools. Low prices on every tool for every trade. Guaranteed.
Have you found yourself looking everywhere to find great value? Look no further than a Kogan Money credit card. 0 annual fees, tantalising rewards. Plus, if you meet the spend requirements, you can earn up to $400 in credit to spend on Kogan.com. Make the switch to a great value credit card at koganmoney.com.au. Offer ends April 30. T's and C's credit criteria, other fees and charges apply. Product issuer and credit provider, Citigroup Proprietary Limited.
You can't go past IGA for hundreds of weekly specials right across the store, like Mainland on-the-go Munchables 4-pack or Grazing Platter 69 to 88 gram selected varieties, $4 each. Now at IGA. Offer ends April 26. Participating stores only. Excludes IGA Express and local grocer.
Race into RSCA Safety and save $20 on your favourite pair of work boots from Steel Blue, Blundstone, Oliver and Wolverine. New winter workwear just landed. Save up to $10 on pants and up to $15 on jackets and hoodies from Carhartt, Cat, 11, FXD and new Hammer & Field. Sale on selected styles. Shop online or click and collect. All RSCA Safety Melbourne stores open 7 days. RSCA Safety's winter sale now on.
It calls out. It's the voice deep in your soul that says, hey, check your ANZ financial well-being score. And you say, who is that? And the voice says, I'm the voice deep in your soul. And stop asking questions. And you say, where do I check my score? And the voice says, well, obviously online. And what did I say about those questions? And you say, I don't like your attitude. I'm leaving to go check my score. And the voice says, good. Search ANZ Financial Wellbeings.
Holidays are here, so keep the whole family happy these school holidays at Hoyts. Enjoy big savings with family of 3 and family of 4 tickets to the latest family movies. Book your tickets now at hoyts.com.au. T's and C's apply.
Melbourne's Triple M, the home of the Marty Sheargold Show. Live weekday mornings from 6.
Hey there, I'm Kim Bradish. Dawn services have taken place across the country with crowds for the first time in 3 years, while Australians have been welcomed back to Turkey for commemorations at Gallipoli, with the dawn service happening right now. Australian Ambassador to the Republic of Turkey, Miles Armitage, has marked the 107th anniversary of the landing on the Gallipoli Peninsula.
Such scenes were repeated all along the front as the Australians and later in the day the New Zealanders pushed towards higher ground they were destined to see but never to hold.
Emmanuel Macron has been re-elected French president, the first to do so in 2 decades. It comes after his far-right rival Marine Le Pen conceded defeat. Macron harnessing around 58% of votes.
After 5 years of changes, of good and difficult times, of exceptional crisis, on this day a majority of us made a choice to trust me to preside over this country for 5 more years.
That translation thanks to the ABC. A man has now been charged after allegedly threatening the Deputy Prime Minister on the side of a busy New South Wales highway. Barnaby Joyce's security were forced to intervene after a motorist stopped on the New England highway last week and allegedly threatened an AFP officer and had a fighting stance. And another La Niña for the East Coast, with forecasters predicting it'll be smashed by the weather system for a third time, something not seen in more than 20 years.
Enjoy 25% off almost everything at Oz Design Furniture. Indulge your home this autumn with their huge range of furniture and homewares. Hurry, sale ends today. T's and C's apply.
Partly cloudy skies. We're heading for a top of 21 for Melbourne today. Tomorrow, partly cloudy and 23, slight chance of a late shower. Our listener app is the new home of Triple M. Download now to listen live or on demand.
Triple M rocks footy.
This quarter for Beacon Trade, supporting tradies with over 120 stores, expert teams and a huge range of electrical products and services. Beacon makes every tradie's job easier.
This is the halftime break for Bosch Power Tools. Bosch 18-volt bi-turbo brushless tools, 1 battery, corded power, backed by a 6-year warranty guarantee. Both teams are back out on the field. We're only a few minutes away from a big second half here, Utah Stadium, where the Hawks lead Sydney by 15 points, 7-5-47. Sydney 4-8-32. Jacob Kazitsky, the only multiple goal scorer on the ground with 2. Lance Franklin, 1 goal, 4 for the Sydney Swans. But before we get the thoughts of Kate and what's going to happen in this second half, let's get down to the boundary line for Bob Jane T-Marts and find out what's been going on down there with Bryce Parker.
Well, you guys mentioned in the first half a few times that the players were getting blinded by the sun, especially on the broadcast side of the ground. That shouldn't be an issue in the second half. It's dipped behind the function centre, behind the interchange benches. Still perfect conditions, up to 17 now, and sets up for a brilliant second half.
Certainly does, sets up for a big second half. Kate McCarthy, just a minute or two before we start this third term. How do you see this one playing out from here?
I think Sydney will probably continue to assert their dominance. It'll be interesting to see how Hawthorn respond after their halftime address from their coach. But they won the clearances in the first quarter. Sydney won the clearances in the second quarter. It's really going to come down to that midfield battle, really. Whoever's really on top in that area is able to assert that forward half dominance. We saw Hawthorn in the first quarter be able to really take advantage of that and put the scores on the board. And on the other hand, Sydney had a lot of opportunities to do so in the second quarter, but weren't quite able to capitalise with goals. But yeah, I think it's that forward half battle coming from that midfield.
Ethan, for Red Z Lending, who needs to lift for both sides to get them over the line?
Yeah, a couple of low numbers between both sides. Jarman Impey just the 1 touch to half time. Low numbers for a couple of forwards. Wingard Bruce just the 4 disposal piece for the Swans. Isaac Heaney just the 6 handballs so far. Yet to have a kick, yet to hit the scoreboard. A couple of low numbers as well. Braden Campbell 6, Hayward 5.
IGA Liquor, add a drop to your shop this footy season at IGA Liquor, like a 6-pack of beers to go with your footy snacks. Head to igaliquor.com.au to find your local store. IGA Liquor, where good food deserves a great drop. Players walking back out to positions. We see Lance Franklin on screen. As we said, the 1 goal, 4, squandered some opportunities in that second term. He's primed. He's got a great record here at this stadium. Callum Mills and Boot Parker doing what they do. And if the Hawks can get on top around the contest, you feel they'll give themselves every chance to get back-to-back wins after a huge win against Geelong Easter Monday. Can they do it again on Anzac Day? Well, we'll find out. Here's Jack Heverin to get us underway. Big second half for footy. Of course, this is the first of a doubleheader with Collingwood and Essendon to follow straight after this one at the MCG.
Thank you, Joey. From McDonald's and Ream Hot Water. Triple M Rocks footy for Macca's, a Friday night feed with the whole team. Get the Macca's Chicken Deluxe range. Order via McDelivery. 30 seconds before we get things underway. Both teams have been reasonable in third quarters. Both have won 3 and lost 2 across the year. Sydney plus 11 in third quarters. Hawthorn plus 5.
What they've done, they've keen. They've got out the position nice and early. They've been standing there for about 2 minutes.
Left us with our arse hanging out, haven't they?
Keep padding, Jack. Keep padding.
Just go early, boys. Bounce the footy. 7-5-47.
Oh, gee whiz.
To 4-8-32. It'll be October by the time they bounce this thing. Here we go. The Hawks with a 15-point lead, looking for their 4th win of the season. Sydney looking to make it 5-1 to start 2022. Laddams and Lynch go at it once again. O'Meara was being held. He wanted a free kick. Umpire said no. Now Laddams at ground level. Handballs out wide for Goulden. Gives a handball back to Parker from left half back. Short to Lloyd. And then on the way past Nick Blakey, we didn't see a lot of in the first half. That kick's okay for Mills. Left foot ball to the top of 50. McLean just read it a little better coming in than Granger Barras, and marks 49 out, 45-degree angle.
Well, 2 players that had a big impact in that second quarter, Parker and Mills, linked up again early in the third term there, and they're 2 players that Hawthorn need to keep a better eye on. Mills has just been everywhere since quarter time, and he's continuing that dominance.
3 tall forwards today for the Swans. McLean, McDonald and Franklin. Has it worked all right from the limited amount we've seen?
Yeah, well, they're all very athletic tall forwards, so not just your usual sit it on their head type tall.
Kicked a goal in the second quarter. McLean starts that out right. That won't score and has helped through for a behind. Brings it back to 14 points the difference. Triple M RGA Liquor scoreboard. RGA Liquor, where good food deserves a great drop.
Hardwick, designated kicker for the Hawks today, will stroll out and goes into the pocket to Harry Morrison. Remember, the Hawks led by 32 points 11 minutes into this game. They came out blistering, 5 unanswered goals. And Sydney were able to peg it back, and now we've got a real game in our hands as Morrison got the footy back, nice bit of footwork, and then goes into the corridor. Wingard stood strong, took a nice contested mark on Paddy McCartan, and he wants to get it moving like the Hawks do, because he saw a player out in space. It was Bruce, dispossessed at the last moment, and then young Ward wrapped up from Blakey. Dylan Moore tries to rip it out. This is all at half forward for the Hawks. Mills coughed up the handball. Ward then coughed it up. Now another strong tackle from Chad Wingard. Finally, the umpire's going to come in and ball it up.
Couple of minutes played in the second quarter. Left half forward in the blazing sunshine in Launceston. Mitchell snaps from the pocket, squares it up to a dangerous area. Bruce flies, Gunston flies. Morrison came flashing in. Handball back to Moore. He doesn't kick him in the second half. He only kicks him in first half.
I actually think that's his first score in the second half. I think I read that he was 0-0 in second halves this year.
Is that right, Heath? For Red Z Lending?
I'll dig it up, but I think you might be right, Joe, off the top of my head.
I did see it somewhere. And he gets a point to start this third term, so it's back to the half-time margin, 15 points. Jake Lloyd wants to go to a one-on-one to Heaney. Hardwick again won that battle. Normally Heaney wins those against a smaller opponent. Well done, Hardwick. Got it to Newcomb, who goes to the top of the square, but Paddy McCartan chops it off. Having a really good year in defence. He's banged up. He copped a couple of big hits in that second quarter. And his kick went to Mills, who was decked after he took the mark from Jager O'Meara, so he'll get the 50-metre penalty. And he's going to keep running because no one mans the mark, so he's got all the way past the centre circle. And he's going to drive it deep inside 50. Big pack of players. Laddams flew. And there's been a whistle. High contact. Who's it going to go to? No one knew. And it's going to go back to Laddams, even though everybody around the contest had no idea.
Really good work rate from Sydney's forwards there. Mills took off pretty quickly out of the defensive 50, and they had about 5 or 6 forwards in front of the ball. Sometimes when someone takes the advantage that quickly, there's no one to kick to. So the forwards all reset really hard, and Laddams was one of those forwards and earned himself a free kick as a result.
So Laddams about 20 out straight in front. I'll get your take on his hair in a minute too, Kate. I don't know if that's bleach growing out of it or what he's doing there, but More importantly, he's got to kick this goal. 25 out straight in front. Oh, that's a bad miss. So they've now got the Yips in front of the big sticks, the Swans. 4 goals, 10-34. Hawthorn 7-6-48. 14-point margin. Triple M IJ Linker scoreboard.
Yeah, I think he's definitely gone the bleach at some point. That's now growing out, and I think it's time that he probably just cut his losses and got rid of that one and maybe went back to a close shave and started again.
The mustache is
You're right, it's a
very sort of adult movie as well, isn't it?
Yes.
Left half forward, a ball up. 14-point lead to the Hawks, who trail. Umpire gets it going once again. Lynch taps it down. O'Meara kicks quickly. That's okay. There's McDonald. And downfield, a free kick's been given. McCartan marked after the ball coming in, Joey.
Again, he was crunched. Another heavy hit, Paddy McCartan. Now, this is where, and I'm a mate of Paddy McCartan, played with him at St Kilda, you start to worry about his health because we know about all his concussion issues. He's copped an errant knee to their head there. This is probably the 3rd time he's gone down in this game. You worry about his health and safety. I know he's had a wonderful game and he's a tough kid, but hopefully he's getting looked after as the kick goes to Franklin, who's a long way from home, and he goes wide out to McInerney.
Yeah, do you think with those players, Joey, obviously there's standard protocols around the concussion. Do you think they need to tighten it up around players that have had significant concussion issues? They shouldn't be treated the same as a player that's never had a concussion?
It's a good point, Kate. It's got to keep evolving these concussion rules because there are too many past players that we see, and I know that are suffering. So fingers crossed for him anyway. As the ball goes inside 50 from the Swans, Laddams, big pack of players. It was McLean that flew. Couldn't take the mark. O'Meara did it nicely, won the ball and was able to break away outside the defensive 50. The kick went to Gunston in a one-on-one against Lloyd. Made it difficult for him. Gunston happy to see it out of bounds.
Red Sea lending stats, Callum Mills part of the inside 50 chain. Already this is his 2nd highest ranked game of the season so far. We already know how good he is. 20 disposals, 11 contest possessions, 536 metres gained, going at 87% by foot. They're all game highs.
Won the medal last week too. They played for a medal in the game against West Coast Eagles, so he might be on track for back-to-back medals. Sure, there's an Anzac Day medal today up for grabs.
And also had the 10 coaches' votes as well, so pretty perfect game from him, and he's backed it up beautifully.
Kate McCarthy, all the Triple M Cbus Super Special comments, delivering consistent long-term results and returns for members. Cbus for all of us. Before her, Ethan Meldrum. With the Red Z lenders, McInerney tried to paddle it forward, took out his own man in the end, and now Newcomb can dash away from half-back, kick on his left foot, a tumbly ball up to half-forward. Gunston playing in front. Hoiks it over his shoulder. Laddams stands under it, takes a good mark. It's just those little tips of blonde still poking through. He's playing some good footy, particularly with Hickey out at the moment. Joey, he needs to be playing good footy.
Yeah, he does, although he ran himself into a bit of trouble there. So he gave the handball to Rampy, who's also running himself into trouble. This is where the Hawks pressure. It's been good. Gunston closes down on Laddams. Goes to Mills. Back to Rampy. They're just filling around with it here, the Swans. Cunningham eventually just dabbles a little kick that made it hard for McInerney. And they've turned the ball over the Hawks, although Newcomb tried to burst through a couple of tacklers, couldn't. And he's been pinged, unfortunately. Geez, wasn't given much time. So we'll go back to Harry Cunningham. Slow start to this quarter. Either side yet to kick a goal. We've played 8 minutes. Strong hands. McLean on the wing. Big contested mark. Marches it up 15 metres to Rowbottom. He's still a long way from home, so he's just going to drive one into the pocket. Where are the Flyers? It's Finn McGuinness who comes across. And the Hawks, what's that to intercept marks, Ethan, and what's the average, league average?
I don't know the average off the top of my head, but intercept marks 13-8 Hawthorn's way. They're dominating in that stat.
Well, McLean really starting to be a factor in this game. Marks the exit kick. There's McInerney. Kicked a really good goal last week against the Eagles. Had 24 disposals. Now Mills again. Right half forward, a kick and a half around from goal. They trail by 14 points, the Swans. Looking for a marking target. Frost was the flyer for the Hawks. He dropped it. Sicily had his kick smothered. It was hacked out of defence. Blakey stood under it for the Swans. Got an ear massage, then gathers, slams it forward. Frost and Sicily got in each other's way. Heaney's hunting at the top of the goal square. Taken out by Granger Barras. The pack forms now. Still loose. Parker Got a handball back, but only as far as Mitchell, and here go the Hawks.
Yeah, they're dodging bullets, the Hawks, and they might go on the counter-attack. They love to score from their defensive half because Moore has got time and space, takes a couple of bounces, works with Conor Nash, but there's not much forward of the ball. So Nash had to go back to Mitchell and short to Wingard. He's forward of the wing. They're going to allow their forwards to get back inside 50 now. Mitchell again, racking them up. There is Gunston, the forward. He's still a long way from home. Too far out. He's going to try and find a mark inside 50. Pulls the kick. Went into the pocket for Kaczynski over his head. Blakey dispossessed as he went to kick it. Here's the Hawks forward pressure. Dylan Moore shovels out a handball. Wingard, can he get on his left boot? He can. From 40 out. Close to the boundary line. Goes right to the goal line. And there's big Peter Laddams again. Taking the saving mark on the last line. And goes short to Warner. And they almost get out of trouble, although Warner's kick. It's a poor one. He was looking for Rowbottom. Instead, he found Warple, who'll go back from 50 out straight in front.
Good play from Laddams to be the last man on the line of defence. Worked all the way back to get that. And Chad Warner looked like he was really taking the game on. It was a very bold kick through the middle. Unfortunately, it was just offline and didn't go to Rowbottom. Instead, it's James Warple that's ended up with it and has a very good chance to put some scores on the board here.
This could be costly for the Swans. Been a slow start to this third quarter. Still 14 points to half-time margin. Warple from 50 out. Straight over the goal umpire's head. The Hawks get the first goal of the second half. And they get out to a nice lead now. 20 points, 8-6-54. Sydney 4-10-34. And that's on the Triple M IJ Liquor scoreboard. IJ Liquor, where good food deserves great drop. Ethan, some of the numbers. So what was happening in this third quarter? Sydney seemed to have had the game in their half or in their control.
Yeah, they certainly have. They cranked their pressure up as well, up to 198, their pressure factor. But just looking at the set shot goal kicking, it's now 4 goals, 3 to Hawthorn, 1 goal, 7 to Sydney. And since quarter time as well, especially all in Hawthorn's favour. 1 goal straight for them, but 0 goals, 5 for Sydney from their 7 set shots on goal in that time.
Having a look at the last inside 50, sorry, Jack. Just looking at Heaney for the Swans. He's playing deepest. We said he hasn't had a whole lot of the ball, so he's playing deepest against Hardwick, and Hardwick's definitely had the best of that matchup. But I wouldn't mind seeing Heaney get up the ground a little bit further, move up the ground, get the ball a little bit higher up, and then be the kick inside 50. We know how well he uses the footy.
Bryce Parker to use shortly, but for McDonald's and Ream Hot Water, Triple M rocks footy. Clearance win for Sydney. McDonald and Granger Barras, 2 of the best young key position players in the competition, going head-to-head. And we get a ball up. Bryce for Bob Jane T-Marts.
Yeah, doctors ran out to Paddy McCartan after that heavy hit. He did shoo them away, but he's just come to the bench and he's gone up the race with the doctor for what looks like a concussion test.
Good news. Bob Jane T-Marts by a set of 4 monster wheels and off-road tyres to enter an Austrac Telegraph ex-camper.
Kick went to half forward for the Hawks, but picked off by the Swans. Gets to the middle of the ground. Chad Warner sends a ball deep inside 50. Heaney's given away a free kick to Hardwick. And they take the advantage. It's Frost. And it's a good kick out wide to Harry Morrison. So that matchup you just spoke about, Kate. Hardwick and Heaney, another win to Hardwick, and they get the half forward Hawthorn. It was a beautiful kick for Kaczynski, but it was even better defending from Rampy to get the fist in. And then the kick from Braden Campbell, gee, unusual for him, goes out of bounds on the full. In front of the interchange gates, John Longmire barking instructions from the bench. He's got his hands full in this one. Hawthorn by 20 points. They led by 14 at quarter time, 15 at half time. Well, it's 54-34. Morrison, who's now having a good game as well, from the true wing. Beautiful kick to Kaczynski. Again, he had some separation on Rampy, but this time Rampy couldn't get a fist to it, and Kaczynski will go back and have a shot from 55 out.
Our forwards have just had some beautiful service all day. Every time they've let up, the ball's just been put lace out to them. That time it was Morrison, just a beautifully weighted kick to Kaczynski and a good run and jump, but playing in front, they've been really hard to stop one-on-one, the Hawthorn forwards today.
So Kaczynski, he's already kicked 2. He kicked 5 goals this game last year, the corresponding Anzac Day game against the Crows. It was a career high. Can he get his 3rd? He sneaks it right to the goal line. Has it got the journey? Not quite. Touched right on the line. So Hawthorn go to 8-7-55. Sydney 4-10-34. It's 21 points. Triple M IJ Liquor scoreboard.
Important 5 or 6 minutes coming up here for the Swans, Kate.
Yeah, they'd want some reward for effort on the scoreboard. But Hawthorn, their forward pressure is just really keeping the ball into their forward 50, and Swans are really struggling, like we saw in the first quarter, to get out of that defensive 50.
Connor Nash, ripping tackle on Braden Campbell. Wrapped his arms around him and then hung on. Has been rewarded with a free kick from just inside 50.
And when Hawthorn have been up and about in this game, it's been the centre clearance, but it's also been their forward pressure. They've been able to lock the ball in, make tackles inside the forward 50 and keep the ball down there. And the Sydney Swans have just really struggled to get it out of their own end. They like to overpossess, they like to use the handball, but that's just invited Hawthorn's pressure.
Third in the competition for tackles this year, the Irishman. His career looked just about done halfway through last year. On his way in, misses to the left. Keeps the Swans in the game. Heath Meldrum, Triple M Red Z lending stats, loans for the self-employed.
Yeah, Kate's spot on. Hawthorn's pressure in the forward half. They're down 6 the inside 50s, but 21 tackles to 10 in the forward half so far for them. That was their 4th shot on goal from a forward 50 turnover.
Well, that's a huge number. 21 tackles inside 50. We're only halfway through the third quarter. And again, they lock the ball in their front half with some great team defence. Harry Morrison and Luke Bruce. And they'll get it thrown in 55 around from their goal. They're only able to kick the 4 goals, the Swans. One of the more high-powered offences in the competition, usually Sydney, but this Hawks defence, they've got them stifled. Ball thrown back in. Rowbottom couldn't take possession. Connor Nash did. Got the handball back to O'Meara. Harry Morrison having a good quarter. Back to O'Meara, under pressure. This goes around the body. Inside 50, loose ball. Gunson attacks it. Shovels a handball to Mitchell. All the experienced boys get involved to Bruce. But what a tackle from Tom McCartan. Brewster's got that beautiful fend off, but he couldn't do anything about that. Tom McCartan nailed him and got rewarded holding the ball. And then horrible kick, turns it over. Stays in play only just. It'll bounce on the boundary line and go out of bounds. 55 around from the Hawks goal, this time on the outer side of Utah Stadium.
His Tom McCartan made a very difficult tackle look very easy then. Bruce was running away from him, then tried to fend. Always hard when a player's got the momentum going around you. He just swallowed him up. That was perfect and a goal-saving tackle.
Hawks by 22 points for McDonald's and Ream Hotwater. Triple M Rocks footy. At the back of the stoppage, Ward tackled as soon as he got it. Warner has him.
Heaney been injected into the midfield. They've obviously seen he's been very quiet. Probably would have made the move a little bit sooner than this, but he's been in there to try and get some hands on the footy.
Yeah, Red Z lending stats, Isaac Heaney, just a 7 disposals so far, 1 score involvement, yet to hit the scoreboard. Direct opponent Blake Hardwick, 14 touches, 6 intercept possessions.
Tell you what, right about now, they'd like a player like Josh Kennedy to come into the midfield and help them out. Just find out who the subs are, Ethan.
Yeah, subs, Josh Kennedy for Sydney. Of course, Paddy McCartan undergoing a concussion test as well. Liam Shields as well for Hawthorn, 2 very experienced players.
So Ward wins that free kick from the stoppage. Looks the little kick to O'Meara. Just forward of the wing. Searches for a marking target. Kaczynski taken out. Ball at the back beats everyone. Now the Swans can try and mount a challenge out of defence. Franklin on the wings. Got 3 to beat. They swarm and they tackle him. But he didn't have the footy. He's quick to get to his feet, bud. This is usually the man that can spark his team into action. He's done it so often, and that was a good kick to the advantage of Ronk. Granger Barras gave away that front-on contact. So Heaney's now pushed forward again. He's in the goal script, but he's got a midfielder this time. So that's the play, Kate. Come up in the midfield, get a midfielder and take him deep. And that's where the kick goes, but the Hawks have been able to get a whole bunch of players to support young Ward. Sicily stiff not to get a free kick. And in the end, Logan McDonald had all the time in the world to have a snap. He didn't even register a score from 3 metres out.
I think he was a bit overwhelmed with how much time he did have then. And Bell was right in front of him that he could have given a handball to, could have run to an unmanned goal square and just dribbled it through, but a little bit of uncomposed work from them there. It was almost could have raffled it, and then at the end no one had a shot, or had a shot and missed.
Triple M Harvey Norman replay as it rolls out of bounds again. Harvey Norman receive a bonus gift card on selected cooking appliances. Conditions apply. I reckon James Sicily could mount a fair case for being smacked around the head and not getting a free kick. He told the umpire about it too, just when the umpire wasn't looking or listening. McGuinness from the base of the stoppage kicks the Hawks out of defence. Bruce at the back tries to paddle it to his advantage. Sit on by Campbell though to keep Bruce away from the footy. Now Lloyd looks to mop up. Back to Cunningham from right half back. Was composed, and a good kick has Warner. Swans just the 2 points in this third term, yet to kick a goal. They've got an opportunity here because Florent takes the mark, 60 out, plays on quickly, but again, it's just a high sort of nothing ball to the top of the square. Heaney's been quiet, he roved the ball, couldn't quite strike it nicely, and the Hawks just clear the area, but that might be deliberate. I think it will be. Going to come back in to row bottom, too far at the score.
Just that ability for Heaney to then get to the front of the contest and rove the footy is exactly why I would like to see him playing further up the ground. Can't get front and centre to a contest if you're playing deepest forward.
Row bottom kicks to the top of the square. Franklin flew. Heaney again stayed down. Won the crumb. Chain of handballs falls to Ronk, who has a snap, and again they miss. Shooting themselves in the foot, the Swans. 4 goals, 11-35. Hawks 8-8-56. Just over 4.5 minutes left in this third term. Ethan, Red Z Lending.
Red Z Lending stats, Sydney's last 12 shots on goal, 0 goals, 8.
Wow. Red Z Lending loans for the self-employed. Didn't they lose a final? Something similar to doing that in Tassie last year.
Yeah, against the Giants.
1 point game, that one. It's only the second time that they played at this ground. The other was against the Hawks in round 5 of 2012. Golden. High and long to the pocket. Hayward playing from behind, trying to create something. That ball looked out of bounds, but play on the call. Gave it to Bell. Squaring kick inside has Logan McDonald 20 metres out directly in front. Surely he kicks this.
Beautiful composure from Bell there. Could have blazed away and had a bit of a hero shot on goal when they need a goal so desperately. But he saw McDonald in the middle of the ground and he threaded the needle beautifully. There were 2 Hawks either side of him and he just hit him lace out. Well done.
2 behinds and an out on the full today already. 21 points down. McDonald squeezes it home. But importantly for the Swans, they kick their first goal of the third quarter. 5-11-41 to the Hawks, 8-8-56 on the Triple M IGA Liquor scoreboard.
Okay, just having a look at the Triple M Harvey Norman replay. Boundary umpire, perfect spot, but it looked close to being out.
Yeah, it did. Very close to being out, but we'll give the boundary umpire for the benefit of the doubt, a lot closer than we are.
Harvey Norman receive a bonus gift card on selected cooking appliances. Conditions apply. It was Hayward that was able to keep it in, and the kick from Bell was a beauty. Ethan, Red Z Lending.
Yeah, Swans have cleaned up their ball use around the ground at least so far this term, going at 73% by foot, plus 9 marks as well against the Hawks.
It's back to the half-time margin of 15 points. It's stayed around that margin since the Swans kicked 3 in a row late in that first quarter after the Hawks led by 32 for McDonald's and Ream Hotwater. Triple M rocks footy, big centre clearance to be won. Max Lynch, we haven't seen too much of him this quarter. Wrapped up by Parker. Ping holding the ball. So Luke Parker will take the free kick. 3 minutes left in this third term. Still 15 points down. Lloyd. Again, they go to a big pack of players. Again, they all fly. McLean was able to win it. Handballs back to Chad Warner. Off a standing start from 45. All of a sudden, they get 2 in a minute. And the Swans are back in the contest. They go to 6-11-47. The Hawks, they're stuck on 8-8-56. 9-point lead late in the third quarter. Triple M IGA Liquor scoreboard.
He's had a really good third quarter, Chad Warner. He's been everywhere. Very electric. As soon as he gets the ball, just takes off and made a mistake down the other end, which led to a goal for James Warple, but more than made up for it there. Got a beautiful handball. Hayden McLean has had a great third quarter as well, but lovely finish from Chad Warner to get their second goal of this quarter.
They haven't put them away, Joey. And now it's potentially a problem for the Hawks. They've had their chances.
Sydney still yet to lead in this match, though. Hawthorn have had the lead the entire time.
Just to recap, Heath, Red Z Lending, biggest lead in the game for Hawthorn.
Yeah, game high lead, 32 points halfway through the first term, Hawthorn's way.
For McDonald's and Ream Hotwater, Triple M rocks footy. The Swans have kicked the last 2. As Hawthorn go forward, Tom McCartan marked and then rush of blood to the head, played on. His handball not great. Now Wingard gets it in the pocket. Left foot kick is clever. Didn't blaze away. And Bruce marks just outside the goal square. 3 metres out directly, or almost directly in front, I should say. To kick his second. This is exactly the response that Sam Mitchell wanted from his men. They've been challenged and they steady with a goal of their own. 6-11-47, the Swans. Hawthorn 9-8-62. Let's get down to Bryce Parker for Bob Jane T-Marts.
Big news this quarter. Paddy McCartan has just been subbed out. Kennedy has just entered the field of play.
Well, Paddy McCartan with that knock to the head. And our thoughts are with him, first and foremost, being subbed out. But they now get a bit of a spark, the Swans, with their former captain, Josh Kennedy, coming into the game. It was a crucial goal by the Hawks. All of a sudden, the Swans had all the running. It was a good call, Jack. It was Tom McCartan who just got a bit carried away. He took a nice mark and then continued to play on, put his teammate Goulden under pressure. They coughed it up, and another forward-half turnover, Ethan, resulting in a goal to the Hawks. And they get it back to that half-time margin of 15 points. 2 minutes left before three-quarter time. It's McDonald's and Ream hot water. Triple M rocks footy. Who's going to win the centre clearance? Morrison. The handball missed O'Meara, and then Mills was held, so he'll get the free kick. Callum Mills coming up for disposal. What, Red Z Lending?
Red Z Lending, 25 disposals for Callum Mills, by far number one ranked player on the ground.
It's Hayward has it, 65 out from goal. Hawthorn with a lot of numbers behind the ball. Looks for a pack mark. Scrimshaw stood in the hole. McLean got a fist on it. There's Kennedy. Fresh onto the ground. Florent alongside him. And the ball up inside Sydney's forward 50. Taking a look on the Harvey Norman replay. Paddy McCartan, Kate, a disconsolate figure in the Sydney rooms.
Yeah, whether he's not well or realises the gravity of having yet another concussion, or it just a very depleted figure, looking at the Harvey Norman replay there of him in the change rooms.
It's such a bloody shame. Even if there's nothing at all, Joey, and it's just a precaution, you just... you hate seeing it.
You do, but it was always going to be a matter of when, not if, for Paddy McCartan. That's the thing. I mean, this would be big news come out of this game. You would think, hopefully it's just you shouldn't say a regular concussion. There is no such thing, but nothing more. But we've heard all about his history and his troubles with the concussion and the symptoms that he's had. So probably all that's running through his head, Kate, I would think.
Yeah.
He's probably not feeling well, but also thinking about...
And they've also been really long-lasting symptoms. He had one that was months and months long when he was at St Kilda, which is why he ended up taking some time away from the game. So it's not just something, he doesn't just get a headache or feel unwell for a couple of days. This can be things that last a long time and long into the future. So hopefully it is just for now, and he starts to feel better quite soon. But it's a really disappointing story to come out of this match.
A throw in 70 out, Swans won it. It was Kennedy who won his first clearance. He went inside 50, and there was a free kick. No one knew who it was, but it was Franklin against Frost. Franklin thought he should have got the free kick, but he was holding on to Sam Frost. So again, their backs hold up for the Hawks. They've been under all sorts of pressure. They've conceded 44 inside 50s, but only 6 goals. Here's Kennedy involved again. Swans win the ball back in the middle of the ground. Chain of handballs, Blakey, Goulden. Such a beautiful kick usually to the advantage of Franklin. Well done, Frost. Just got a fingernail in, but he kept his feet. And from the pocket, almost identical to what Bell did, got it to the top of the square. The umpire called play on for them and then changed his mind and has paid the mark to Ben Ronk. And exactly where Logan McDonald kicked his goal from, 15 metres straight in front, and this will be after the three-quarter time siren.
It was almost a carbon copy, wasn't it, Joey? You said it yourself during the call. Lovely left foot back to the centering kick to Ronk, who took the mark.
And he gets the goal. So on the stroke of three-quarter time, the Swans get back to 9 points, and they're pressing. This is a great game of footy. It's Hawthorn 9-8-62, Sydney 7-11-53. Big game, big fourth quarter still to come here from UTAS Stadium. McDonald's and Ream hot water, Triple M rocks footy.
That quarter for Beacon Trade, supporting tradies with over 120 stores, expert teams and a huge range of electrical products and services. Beacon makes every tradie's job easier.
For Ream hot water,
Triple M rocks footy.
built tough for Aussie conditions. When it comes to water heating, ask your plumber to install a Ream. Straight after this game, join the Temper Mattress call team for the traditional Anzac Day clash between the Bombers and Pies.
Game on Anzac Day. MCG are up.
For Ream hot water and McDonald's, Triple M rocks footy.
At Total Tools, we won't be beaten on low prices. Our Save Time, Save Money promo is on now. No dramas with power when it comes to the new Bosch Hammer Drill, the world's strongest drill with electronic angle detection. Get it now at Total Tools for just $399. Beat that! Our low prices on some of the world's biggest tool brands will not be beaten. Total Tools, low prices on every tool for every trade. Guaranteed.
Have you found yourself looking everywhere to find great value? Look no further than a Kogan Money credit card. 0 annual fees, tantalising rewards. Plus, if you meet the spend requirements, you can earn up to $400 in credit to spend on Kogan.com. Make the switch to a great value credit card at koganmoney.com.au. Offer ends April 30. T's and C's credit criteria, other fees and charges apply. Product issuer and credit provider, Citigroup Proprietary Limited.
There's a budget over there. There's a budget over there. And there's a budget over there.
What are you doing?
Counting all the budget locations around Melbourne. There's a budget over there.
There are 30 all over Melbourne.
Why so many?
So there's always a budget location right around the corner from our customers, with more great offers too.
Great offers right around the corner. I knew that.
Just visit budget.com.au. They're all there.
Thank you.
Termite protection from the best. Pick up the phone, call Exopest. Renovating, extending or starting from scratch, termites are gone on the Exopest patch. Those nasty critters with pointed teeth, they'll destroy your home from underneath. Exopest will do it right. No worries, mate. You've won the fight. Get protection from the best. Put those nasties down to rest. Safe, affordable, reliable. Call Exopest 8696 9000. 50-year termite protection, new homes and extensions.
Hey, what you doing?
Checking out the new specials at bottomart.com.au.
Oh, have they still got my favourite Carlton Draft 24-pack for just $47.99?
Yeah, and check this out. Spend $25 or more on Jim Beam to enter the draw to win a Yeti cooler.
So I could grab one of those 700ml bottles of Jim Beam White Label for $39.99 for a chance to win.
Yep, and my fave Jim Beam White and Cola 4.8% 10-pack is just $35.99.
Smash that order button. See website for T's and C's. 1 hour delivery available in selected areas. Download the Bottomart app.
At Total Tools, we won't be beaten on low prices. Our Save Time, Save Money promo is on now. Work quieter with the low noise Iron Air Super Quiet Direct Drive Compressor for just $479. Save $50. Beat that! Our low prices on some of the world's biggest tool brands will not be beaten. We can't be beaten. Total Tools, low prices on every tool for every trade. Guaranteed.
Straight after this game, join the Temper Mattress call team for the traditional Anzac Day clash between the Bombers and Pies.
Game on Anzac Day. MCG are up.
For Ream Hot Water and McDonald, Triple M rocks footy.
Shut up. The footy's on Triple M.
Triple M rocks footy.
This quarter for IGA Liquor, where good food deserves a great drop.
Great game of footy, this one at the University of Tasmania Stadium in Launceston. Hawthorn lead at three-quarter time, but by 9 points, 9-8-62 to the Swans, 7-11-53 for the Hawks. A couple of goals to Bruce and Kaczynski, and for Sydney, they've shared their goals around as well. Kate McCarthy, Joey Montagna, Jack Heverin, Ethan Meldrum, Bryce Parker, your call team for McDonald's and Ream Hot Water, Triple M rocks footy. Kate, that third quarter, the Swans made a real run at them.
Yeah, they did. They made a good run. They had a little bit more field position again in that third quarter, but we saw the bad side of giving up 5 goals to start the game. Every time they'd sort of edge a little bit closer to the Hawks would then kick another one to get that lead back out. They're leading by 9 points, probably the closest it's been since the start of the match. So, yeah, they did wrestle back a fair bit of momentum, and another key cog to that was obviously Callum Mills, who's had a fantastic game so far, but I was also really impressed by Josh Kennedy. We knew how much he was going to add to the midfield, and he came in as the sub for Paddy McCartan, which is the big story, that he was subbed out with concussion in the third quarter. But I think Kennedy's been a real addition to this midfield as well.
Joey, just on Paddy McCartan, we were talking about it during that third quarter. We've seen some images on the Harvey Norman replay. It's hard to know whether he's just upset and there's nothing wrong or what the story is. It's well, what do you think when you see that? You know him well.
Well, first of all, it's sad because, I mean, he's had this history with concussions, and it always felt, for me, it was always inevitable that he was going to get another one. And what would be the outcome of that? I mean, a young man who's had so many issues. We know the long-term effects. And I'm feeling for him because he's probably got a million things going on through his head. I thought Kate summed it up beautifully. So our fingers are crossed, but we hope and think that he's hopefully well. But our thoughts are with Paddy McCartan and the family, because that's the most important thing. But there's a game of footy to be won, and the fourth quarter started for McDonald's and Ream Hot Water. Ball goes inside 50 to the Swans. Another big collision off the ball. There's the Swans player down inside their forward 50, and they're going to get pinged holding the ball. Might be young Logan McDonald, I think. Yeah, it is. So he still hasn't got to his feet. So we'll get Bryce Parker to keep an eye on him. Hardwick it is that got the free kick for holding the ball in the back pocket for Hawthorn. As we see that Harvey Norman replay, that's a big hit. Will Day coming the other way. His shoulder straight into the face of McDonald, who's coming to the bench. And that kick from Hardwick's being picked off by McInerney.
And having a look at that footage, he'll probably go straight down and do a concussion test. They look at the footage. If there's any contact to the head and the head sort of shaping backwards the way that it did just then, I would say that he will be out for a little while in this last quarter, at least doing a concussion test.
So the Swans will be a man down. They've already activated the sub. Franklin couldn't mark Frost. Karate kick out of the air. You just never know what's going to happen. Sam Frost is in the area. Mills marks just outside 50. Wastes no time. Puts it towards Franklin, who knocked over about 4 on the way through. He's going to get a free kick for a block. It'll be Heaney to take it. Buddy came through like a steam train and just took out everyone that was in his path. But free kick going before that.
And Buddy's always first to react in the area when there's a free kick blown. He always thinks that it's one for him. That time it was Isaac Heaney's.
So Heaney a couple of steps around, snaps and goals. All important first goal of the last quarter goes to Sydney. It's a 3-point game in Launceston on the Triple M Beacon Trade scoreboard.
I'm interested to see if Isaac Heaney started in the centre bounce. I'm not sure if he did, because he's got that matchup again against young Ward. So that's what he's been able to do a couple of times. He's been able to push forward young Josh Ward, who doesn't have the size or the strength just yet in his first season, to match it with Heaney. And that time he just put too much work in and we pushed him off the ball. Umpire saw it, paid the free kick.
Red Z lending stats. Callum Mills with that kick to Isaac Heaney there, finding it by accident now. 28 disposals, 8 scoring moments, 14 contested possessions. Number 1 ranked player on the ground by a long, long way.
What do you have at quarter time? How many disposals, Callum Mills? I think he said, did he say he had 4 touches?
Yeah, Red Z lending stats. Callum Mills at quarter time had the 4 disposals, so 24 since quarter time.
So Heaney's starting on the wing, not in the centre bounce, but on the wing. So that is how he's getting that mismatch, as we saw Hardwick really great on him for the first 3 quarters.
It's a good plan. Start him high, push him forward as the Hawks win this centre clearance. McDonald's and Ream Hot Water. Ward it is towards Impey. He's had a quiet game. Ball goes towards the boundary line, out of bounds. Right in front of our man Bryce Parker. Bob Jane T-Marts.
Logan McDonald has just gone back to the rooms with the Swans doctor for a concussion test.
Bob Jane T-Marts buy a set of 4 monster wheels and off-road tyres and enter to win an Austrac Telegraph X-Camper trailer.
So 2 down at the moment, Sydney. Paddy McCartan subbed out of the game. Here is the sub, Josh Kennedy, laying on the footy. Newcomb had him trapped. Holding the ball, free kick goes Hawthorn's way. Now 70 metres around from goal, John Newcomb. Looks for Gunston. Couldn't get a clean run at it. Good contest by Lynch. Open the door for Wingard. Over the top to Kaczynski. Open goal for the Hawks. They respond quickly and get themselves back out to a 9-point lead on the Triple M Beacon Trade scoreboard, supporting tradies with over 120 stores, expert teams and a huge range of electrical products and services. Beacon makes every tradie's job easy.
Yeah, it was a good kick into a very dangerous area from Jai Newcomb, a good contest as well, and it was Max Lynch that came over late with the fist. Chad Wingard, beautiful front and centre crumb, and then out to Kaczynski, which he's finished off beautifully again in this match, but Chad Wingard that was textbook front and centre from a small forward.
Every time they've been challenged, they've responded, the Hawks. It was the case last week on Easter Monday against the Cats. And they had a big final term. Can they do it again? They've won 6 of the last 10 clearances. It's back to 9 points. For McDonald's and Ream Hot Water, Triple M Rocks footy, game on. Tom Mitchell being a bit quieter in this second half, and there's going to be a free kick. It's going to go the way of Callum Mills again. What a game he's having.
Yeah, on the other hand, Tom Mitchell, though, you said been quiet since half-time, just the 5 disposals after having 16 in the first half.
I thought you better tell me I was wrong then, Ethan. I was like, didn't think I'd caught him too often in that third quarter. Mills, beautiful kick out wide, finds Cunningham. Still about 70 out. So again, Sydney just happy to bomb it in high to the top of the square. Big pack of flyers. Lucky not to give away a free kick. Sicily for a push and Scrimshaw. He's had a really nice afternoon. Takes the intercept mark.
I just don't see Sydney winning this game if they continue to bomb the ball long to their forwards. They haven't really had much success with it all day. They're just having a big pack of players that are sitting deep, getting it in long, and then hoping for either a free kick or to bring the ball to ground. They haven't really taken many marks in there.
Well, they took the intercept mark, McCartan, and again he just bombs it straight back in, and again Sicily takes the intercept mark. Spot on, Kate.
That's why she gets paid the big bucks. The Triple M Cbus Super Special comments. Kate McCarthy delivering consistent long-term returns for members. Cbus for all of us. O'Meara has it on the broadcast wing. It should be a free kick. Impey got one high. Jeez. Umpire said no. Said no free kick, and you can pick your head up on the way down.
And don't put your arms up, because I'll say 50.
That's exactly right. Triple M Harvey Norman replay. Oh, he's probably right. Kennedy got more of the ball. So thrown in. Lynch bodied off by Laddams. Mitchell stood up in the tackle, got it loose, and now Newcomb. One off the stoppage, kicks a left foot ball into the grandstand. Out of bounds on the full. 6.5 minutes played in the last quarter. Triple M Beacon Trade scoreboard. It's the Hawks by 9 points.
That wasn't his finest disposal, but I think John Newcomb's been really good for the Hawks so far this afternoon. Played in that midfield, obviously, with Tom Mitchell helping to play a supporting role with him, but I've been impressed by his game.
Rampy goes back to the wing. Big pack of players. Gordon being pinged holding the ball. Tom Mitchell, good tackle. They're set for a grandstand finish here. Hawks by 9 points. Remember, straight after this, we're going to the MCG. Brownie, Das, Dale Thomas, the Duck, Ash Chua, they're all there. They're going to call the socks off that one, but there's still a good game of footy on here. The Sydney Swans win the ball back. Half-back flank. Parker, good kick, finds Hayden McLean on the wing, and they want to get it moving. It's with Goulden, the smooth mover. Kicks at the advantage of Bell, but getting back was Blake Hardwick again. Knocking it out of bounds, just inside 50 for the Swans.
So the Hawthorn going forward, they've had 10 marks from 36 inside 50s. On the other hand, Sydney just 9 marks from 50 inside 50. So it's that ball use going forward. They need to lower their eyes, hit a forward on a lead, not just kick it long to a pack.
Hawks by 9 points. 6 inside 50s to 1 this quarter in Sydney's way. Rowbottom handballs to Laddams, just inside the boundary line. 60 metres out from goal. It's touched. And it'll be thrown in inside the Swans forward 50. Reds Ed Lenders, Heath.
Yeah, just looking at Callum Mills' game, already the second highest ranked game of the season so far. We're only 8 minutes into the fourth quarter. 29 touches, 15 contest possessions, and still going at 90% by foot as well as a major.
Reds Ed Lending loans for the self-employed. Heaney off the stoppage. Handballs to Rowbottom. Kicks from a standing start. Will Day. The extra number back marks for the Hawks.
You hear the excitement in Ethan's voice when there's a record up for grabs. Second highest ranked game of the season so far from Mills, and the ball might come back in because the Swans pick it off again. McInerney, half forward. They're getting a lot of time in front half now this fourth quarter. Goulden, but again they kick the ball long and straight down the throat of Will Day. They just keep picking it off, these Hawks defenders. And they still lead by 9 points. And Will Day will kick it back out towards the wing. Again, Sydney is set up well. This time it goes out of bounds. Some of the other big players in this one, Ethan. Who else is having a day out? Not as big as Mills, but who else is going all right?
Luke Parker doing well as well for the Swans. 23 touches, 5 clearances for the Hawks. Mitchell, 24. Scrimshaw, 20. Jager O'Meara, 18 touches, 8 clearances, the most on the ground.
A goal each in this last quarter. Sydney head forward again. And the Hawks' key defenders mark. This time Granger Barras. There's Newcomb at half-back. For Bob Jane Teamarts, Bryce Parker.
The crowd's just in for today. 14,107 people here at UTAS Stadium.
That's a great crowd. Really good crowd as it's smothered Out of bounds by Warner. And we get a stoppage 60 metres out from Sydney's goal. They've trailed all afternoon. They conceded the first 5 goals of the game. They've had to do this one the hard way. Throw in, Laddams starting to get on top of Lynch late. Rowbottom got one high and will get a free kick.
So this is where I wouldn't mind him going a little bit lateral here instead of just going straight lines, as he gets the handball off straight to the same player.
And McInerney goes in the pocket, but this time it took a spectacular mark from Heaney. Granger Barras was sitting under it. It looked like another intercept mark, and then Heaney soared. And he's having real influence now in this final term. Terrific mark. And he's going to steady himself. He's going to take the snap. And he can get the margin back to 3 points. Almost an identical spot where he kicked one from earlier in this fourth quarter. Misses. Unusual for Heaney. He's hooked it. Normally one of the more reliable kicks for goal. And he hooked it. So it's an 8-point lead. Hawthorn 10-8-68. Sydney 8-12-60. But they are pressing the Swans. They're playing the game in their front half in this fourth quarter.
The Hawks are hanging on. They kicked a goal at the 3-minute mark. Inside 50s this quarter, Heath. Red Z lending, please.
Inside 50s, 9-1 Sydney's way.
As Granger Barras goes for a dash on the outer side wing and then kicks long and direct to half forward. More the next link in the chain. Back inside to Finn McGuinness. Can see something in the forward pocket. It's Gunston who flies. It was off his hands and over for a throw in right forward pocket. Good build up for the Hawks. 10-8-68 they lead. Sydney 8-12-60. Umpire wastes no time throwing it back in. McLean down to Warner. His kick is safe and it's marked by Ronk, who gives to Kennedy.
And now they're away here, the Swans, although Kennedy missed Goulden and over his head. Jordan will do well to keep it in. He does, but then he gave the handball to Franklin, who tried to sweep the handball back to Goulden, but it goes out of bounds. So we'll have it thrown in on the wing, just forward of centre for the Swans. They trail by 8 points. They haven't led all day. The closest they got was 3 points start of this fourth quarter with an Isaac Heaney goal. They trailed by as much as 32, 11 minutes into this one when the Hawks kicked the first 5. Good game of footy. Who can win the clearance? Warple, dispossessed, turnover. Swans get it. McLean, forward handball to Warner. He's got some time and space. He's going to stroll to 50. He's going to unload and goes for home. Chad Warner kicks his second. And they're now within 2 points. And the Swans are coming. Triple M Beacon Trade scoreboard supporting tradies with over 120 stores, expert teams and a huge range of electrical products and services. Beacon makes every tradie's job easier. Kate McCarthy, game on.
Well, if we have a look at the Harvey Norman replay, he saw as soon as James Warple spilt that handball, Chad Warner just bolted forward at the stoppage. No one went with him from Hawthorn. He ended up getting goal side of his opponent and just steadying really nicely to about 50 out from goal and just steadied, slowly kicked that one through and really enjoyed the celebration. Looked around and said, how easy is that?
And it's a goal from a stoppage as well for Sydney. 8-3 the clearance is their way in this final quarter. 15-8 the contested ball as well in Sydney's favour.
For McDonald's and Ream Hot Water, Triple M rocks footy at 2-point game in Sydney. Win the clearance through Laddams, who bangs it long and direct. McLean playing from the back, got it to ground level. Bounce goes over the head of Ward. McInerney got a handball free to Bell to take the lead for the Swans. Snaps it towards goal. And Frost helps it through for a behind. A 1-point game with 11 minutes remaining.
Clearance is becoming a real issue now, Ethan, isn't it? They were up 11-4 at one stage, the Hawks. Now they trail by 10. Is that right?
Yeah, spot on, Joey.
Starting to cost them field position, and they're going to have to do a lot of this. Move the ball from their back 50. Frost kick, just sat up and allowed Kennedy to get the fist in, and the Swans turn it over. Mills, oh, that might affect his ranking points. The handball was turned over. And McGuinness gets it for the Hawks. He goes across the ground to Ward, who steadies. They're under siege here, Hawthorn. Can they get some territory? Get it in their front half. The kick's wide, finds Dylan Moore.
Dylan Moore's been great all day at just providing an option for his backs to kick it out to him, getting in front of his defender.
He's had to come a long way from home, and the kick was almost picked off by Mills. Chad Warner's there. He's wrapped up. Moore gets back into the contest. Lloyd, bit of composure, did it well. Got it to Mills. Really clever kick. He saw Goulden out in space on the wing. He goes inside 50. Franklin's got goal side. Takes the mark. Oh, and then he thought about playing on for half a step. He thought about it and then thought better of it. And he's going to go back. He's only 3 metres out, 5 metres out, but he's on a tight angle. And he's on the wrong side, so he's going to step out and kick one with his right boot. He doesn't kick too many on the right, but he's got that one. And the Swans, for the first time today, are in front. They're 10-13-73. Hawthorn 10-8-68. Bud's got his second. That's 2 goals for. Triple M Beacon Trade scoreboard. Over to you, Sam Mitchell. What do you got?
Sam Mitchell.
Coach.
Oh, God.
Not you. Sam Mitchell, the coach.
Yeah, well, it's just been a sheer weight of numbers from Sydney. They've had all the inside 50s. They've won all the clearances. And, Joey, I think Sam Mitchell's going to need to throw a fair bit of arsenal into this next centre clearance. They need their best players in there, try and get the clearance, and then try and get some ascendancy with their forward 50.
Yeah, for the first time we saw him on the Harvey Norman replay screen. The first time he looked a bit rattled today. He's been calm and composed, but now he's got to think, come up with something.
And Red Z leading stats, we were talking about the clearances. They were 11-4 Hawthorn's way. Since that point, 30-13 Sydney's way.
For McDonald's and Ream Hot Water, Triple M rocks footy. Hawthorn have to stand up in the face of the challenge that's coming their way. Another clearance win. Kennedy out of the middle. Bangs it into the left forward pocket. It bounces end on end on end. And a good result for Sydney. They get a throw in 30 metres around from their goal. They have not led at any stage to date, the Swans, until that last goal from Franklin. They're charging towards victory now. Heaney squares it up. Great kick for Rowbottom. They look out on their feet, the Hawks.
Yeah, and it was that kick from Heaney. The last few times they've gone inside 50, they would have hit that long to the top of the square. Heaney, with all of his composure, had a look around, didn't look long, looked at who had snuck forward from their mids to get a cheap disposal at the top of the 50, and it was Rowbottom. So very smart, very composed from Isaac Heaney. He's had a great fourth quarter.
59 inside 50s to 37. Sydney's way. Rowbottom for his second goal of the year. Pushes it wide and misses everything.
Maybe it's time to get a few forwards for the Hawks into the play, because if that ball hasn't been down there, they might be the fresh legs. This defence of the Hawks have done an awesome job, to be honest. Minus 22 in inside 50s. They're getting smacked in clearance, smacked in contested ball, but they're hanging in there, the Hawks defenders. But now they need to find a goal. Who can spark them? Because it's going to come back again. Lloyd, high kick, top of the 50. Granger, Barras and McLean. Mitchell had less influence in this half. Will Day got it to Sicily. Good bit of composure. And then in the end, forced to throw it on the boot. Kazitsky doesn't take possession. Laddams gives it to McInerney. And again, it's going to go inside 50. And again, the Hawks defenders are going to have to stand tall. Who's going to fly? It's Heaney again. Couldn't take the mark. Rowbottom at ground level. Parker got to his feet. Franklin's lurking. Chad Warner's already kicked 2. McLean knocks it on. Bell, this is all top of the goal square. Franklin, can he get free? He can't. And the Hawks are still scrambling. Kennedy, there's some fresh legs. He's under pressure. Mills feeds it back. Here's Florent. This might be the one. They just kept persisting, the Swans. They just kept attacking, and the Hawks were trying and trying. But the onslaught looks like it's become too much. And the Swans now get out to 11 points. 11-13-79. The Hawks 10-8-68. Not much they can do about it, the Hawks defence.
Yeah, well, that passage of play pretty much sums up the entire day. The Hawks have just fought hard and hard. They've got out to a beautiful lead, but then they haven't been able to keep up with the Swans from there. They've just been trying as much as they could in their defensive 50, and until this point, they've stood up really well. But the Swans just far too strong for them at the end of the day.
Red Z leading stats. This is becoming a fourth quarter onslaught for the Swans. 16 inside 50s to 2 their way. Looking at the contested numbers, contested ball 28-12. Hardball gets 8-0 both Sydney's way.
For McDonald's and Ream Hot Water, Triple M rocks footy. If you're a Hawthorn supporter listening to us right now, this game is slipping away. They win a clearance through O'Meara, who has Morrison driving by on the lead. No mark. Blakey. Big fist gets it out of bounds in front of Gunston.
Great defending, Nick Blakey.
That move's worked for him. Clearance is 11-4 this quarter, as Heath told us. Earlier in the game, Joey, they were 32 points down, the Swans. They lead it by 11.
They've really dominated almost 3/4 of footy. They've just chipped away. We spoke about that second quarter, didn't we, Kate, where they dominated, but they couldn't put the score on the board. Same in the third term. Finally, the damn wall's broken. And they're going to get another free kick holding the ball. Warner from the stoppage. Laddams took the advantage, so Mills gave it back to Warner, who's forced under pressure to kick a high ball. Granger Brash should mark this one on centre wing. Still plenty of time, just over 7 minutes left in this one. Hawks are only 11 points down. You just feel the way this game's being played, it's going to be a tough ask. But can they just manufacture a goal somehow? That's not going to help. The kick from Granger Brash long down the line. Josh Kennedy picked it off with ease.
And the timing of his sub into the game, it was completely just coincidental that it worked out so well, but they needed a lift through the midfield. He was injected as the sub when McCartan came off with that concussion, and it's just been beautiful timing for the Sydney Swans.
This is the argument about the sub rule. You say the subs advantage Sydney, but disadvantage the Hawks. They've got a fresh player, Liam Shields, just sitting on the bench.
They haven't used him as yet, Liam Shields.
They're not allowed unless there's an injury.
Yeah.
But I'm sure Mitchell would love to get him into the game. As Laddams again takes a strong intercept mark and goes laterally to Callum Mills. Gives an update, Ethan, on Mills. I know you want to.
Callum Mills, this is his 35th disposal. I know there's a lot of Supercoach nuffies out there. He's cracked the 200 mark, believe it or not.
Wow. I don't know what that means, but it sounds like a lot. Let's just go with that. Where does that rank him in the best games of the year, Heath?
It's the best game of the year.
It is? No wonder you got such a smile on your face right now. You've been able to get that record out. Ball up at left half forward. 6 minutes to play.
Is Two-Man invited to the Lake Boga? Do you get invited to the Lake Boga end of season party with Two-Man? Or are you still a bit of tension?
Yeah, there's still a little bit of tension between me and Two-Man. He was a little bit flustered the other day when I popped into the commentary box. So.
Oh. I still think the octagon is the best way to sort it out between you two. The kick coming out of defence is marked by Blakey.
I just know Two-Man would have loved to have got that stat out.
Oh, yeah.
Game of the season.
He'll get his chance next on Anzac Day at the MCG. Blakey long and direct. Franklin in from the side. Couldn't mark. Hayward down to Ronk. He snaps. That might be enough. His second. The Swans have piled on the pressure in this fourth quarter. And look set to march on for their 5th victory of 2022. They lead it by 17 points on the Triple M Beacon Trade scoreboard.
Well, it's been a great game of football and a really good fighting effort from Sydney Swans. They dominated most of the stats up until about three-quarter time, but still found themselves behind on the scoreboard. But this fourth quarter has just been a complete domination. Hawthorn have had no field position, hardly any time with the footy, and they've just piled on the goals.
Kate McCarthy, Triple M C-Bus, super special comments, delivering consistent long-term returns for members. C-Bus for all of us.
Red Z leading stats. Peter Laddams, #1 ranked player on the ground this term. 9 hitouts, 5 of those have been to advantage. He's also had the 8 disposals, 4 clearances, 3 score involvements.
The other big 2-metre Peter, getting the job done. Peter Laddams, #1 ruck. So now they're out to 17 points. McDonald's and Ream hot water. And again, they're going to win a clearance. And again, it's Callum Mills. Just keeps ticking over the Supercoach points. Big ball inside 50. Franklin lurking. Ronk just kicked the last one. This will seal the game. He's got his third. And they've kicked 6 goals in this final quarter onslaught. And they've broken it open to 23 points. 13-13, 91. The Hawks 10-8, 68. Triple M Beacon Trade scoreboard.
Ronk enjoyed that one. A very extravagant celebration to go with it, but this one's definitely all over now with those goals to Sydney. It's just been a bit of an onslaught this final quarter, but Hawthorn have fought really well in this game. They've stayed in it even when the stats sheets and everything else has been against them. Up until probably halfway through this fourth quarter, they were still in this. With about 7 minutes to go, Joey, you said there's still time for them to come back here, but this one's all over now.
Done. Good effort by the Swans. This been a strong performance from Sydney.
All with thanks to Ream Hot Water, built tough for Aussie conditions. When it comes to water heating, ask your plumber to install a Ream. It's out to 23 points now. Sydney have been superb late in this game. As Campbell is tackled. Ball spilled out the back for Parker. Worked hard all afternoon. Little chip over the top. Kick is clever for Warner. In that third quarter, Kate, when they needed a spark, Chad Warner was one that really got them going.
Yeah, I think he's been great in this match. He's even gotten better in this fourth quarter, kicked a couple of really important goals. The second of two, which was really composed at the top of 50. It was a great finish, very classy.
And he's a goal-scoring mid. Kicked 2 and had 20 last week as well. And he's kicked 2 and had 23 today. As the ball goes inside 50 into the pocket. Franklin couldn't pick it up. Newcomb. And it's just one of those mids that's faded out of this game a little bit. Hardwick's taken an attack from Laddams. Umpire's going to ball it up.
Nearly had his head taken off there and didn't get a free kick for it, so that's probably why he was sitting at the bottom of the pack wondering what happened.
4 minutes 10 left on the clock. It's now out to 23 points, the Swans, after trailing by 32 in the first quarter. O'Meara, Moore and Day. They flick it around by hand and they release Wingard. So he's got a bit of time and space, but all the forwards were high, so he didn't have a lot to go to. And in the end, I'm not sure whether that was intentional, but he found the boundary line and we'll get it thrown in. Half forward for the Hawks.
As Bryce told us earlier, a crowd of 14,107. Good turnout by Tassie footy fans today. Up next, we head to the Triple MCG. Brownie, Das, Duck, Daisy, Robbo and Chu. We all there for McDonald's and Ream Hot Water. A step inside by Ward. He drives inside 50 for the Hawks. It's fisted away. First there is Newcomb. He's wrapped up. Good tackle by Campbell. And that should be 50. The whistle had gone and then Impey had a shot, but umpire said, no, just play on and let's get this game done. So McInerney. There's Blakey at centre half back in Sydney. Push it out wide. Hayward. Next link in the chain. Kate, you've got the Triple MVP Awards for homeloans.com.au. I think Heath's sort of really tried to push you in the direction of one man this afternoon, hasn't he?
It'd be hard to look past him, to be honest.
Could give him 6 votes if you wanted.
Oh, that would be a season high as well.
The Swans just taking the sting out of this one. Rampy at halfback. Been a wonderful performance from Sydney. McLean, he stood tall at moments. Takes a strong contested mark. They kicked 7 goals up to three-quarter time, Sydney, and then went bang with 6 in this final quarter. And had 20 inside 50s in this fourth quarter. They've been dominant. Callum Mills up to 37 disposals. Luke Parker, 28. Chad Warner, 2 goals and 24. Ball comes inboard to Nick Blakey. So just over 2 minutes left. Blakey instructing the forwards to go to the top of the square. Franklin, can he get one more? He's been paid the mark. It's been a great duel against Frost all day. And Bud, from about 15, 20 out straight in front, will go back for his 100th goal, would it be, Ethan? Did he have 97 coming in?
Yeah, Resi leading stats, 97 coming in, so this will be number 100.
I wonder if the crowd in Tassie know that might run out. 100 goals at the ground.
It's the second biggest milestone he's got this year.
2 goals, 4 for Buddy. He's been lively. He's looked good at times, taken some strong marks, 17 disposals. Half of those contested. And he's going to kick his third. He looks lean, he looks hungry. I think we've got a blood rule. Might be Chatty Warner coming off. Triple M Harvey Norman replay. See there. Harvey Norman receive a bonus gift card on selected cooking appliances. Conditions apply. The clock ticks down to 1:45. Here's Bud for his third. He's got it. Like shelling peas for the great man. That's 1,007 goals. His 100th at this stadium at Launceston. And the crowd appreciate it. And he extends the lead to 29 points. 14-13, 97. The Hawks 10-8, 68. And that's all thanks to the Triple M Beacon Trade scoreboard.
Probably could have had a big afternoon out. Bud, we know he likes this stadium, obviously. Has kicked 13 previously when playing here. I think that takes him to 3 goals, 4 if I'm right, Heath.
Yeah, 3 goals, 4 so far today.
Yeah, a couple of them were probably pretty easy misses as well, so 3 goals, still not a shabby afternoon out, is it? So well done to Bud. But yeah, Sydney, this last quarter has been a fantastic performance, as we see Lance Franklin and Callum Mills both go to the boundary, so that would probably be them done for the afternoon, I would say.
It's always a good sign where you sit in the rankings at the club.
Yeah.
You get taken off.
Q in the rack.
Yep.
All with thanks to McDonald's kickoff game day with Macca's Chicken Deluxe range. Order via McDelivery. Triple M Rocks footy. The Hawks had their chances to make it win number 4 for the season. They just ran out of gas the longer that this game's on. More to the top of the goal square. Kaczynski couldn't mark. Kennedy had it battered down by Morrison, who's tried hard, shrugged a couple of tackles, then snaps on his left foot. Doesn't make the distance. And there's Heaney back on the last line of defence.
So Lloyd ticking inside the final minute now. 66 inside 50s. Been a strong performance. Kick to the wing. A couple of youngsters, Ward and Newcomb combined. Mitchell had a strong first half. None of the mids have been able to get going for Hawthorn in this one. They've just run out of steam, the Hawks. They've run out of puff. Swan's full of running. And they might have time with one more because this man's full of running. Kennedy, nice for him to come on as the sub with the fresh legs. Beautiful kick to the open side, to the running McInerney to notch the 100 points. He gets it. And Sydney, they get out 15-13, 103. Hawthorn 10-8, 68. All of a sudden, it's a huge 35-point margin.
Well, that happened quickly, didn't I? Remember, with 7 minutes to go, it was still probably a game that was up for grabs for Hawthorn, and Sydney have just been dominant in this last 7 minutes and have finally put the scoreboard pressure on that they probably could have done earlier in the game. But to Hawthorn's credit, they defended well, kept them out as long as they could, but the floodgates have well and truly opened here.
We're in the Triple M Amy review. Who covers clangers on and off the field? Amy does, Heath.
Yeah, Red Z leading stats, just a weight of numbers for Sydney. And Hawthorn actually set a season high for intercept marks in defensive 50 today with 13. 15 clearances to 7, though Sydney's way this quarter. 22 inside 50s to 7. And just looking at Callum Mills, highest ranked game since 2019. Max Gawn against North Melbourne around 23.
He's loving every minute of this. Big numbers falling late in the game. Josh Kennedy, 10 disposals as the sub coming on midway through the third quarter as well. Has had a big impact. Down to the final 20 seconds. There's Kennedy with another clearance. Handballs to Robot on this time if they're good enough. He snaps it forward. Ronk can sniff a goal from a mile out, and so can Hayward. Raining goals in the last quarter. Sydney had 4 on the board at half time. Are going to finish with 16.
41 points, 8 seconds to go. Kate McCarthy, well, we've got you the Triple MVP award for homeloans.com.au. Homeloans.com.au. When it comes to the fairest home loans, they're the true MVP. Now's as good a time as any for us to give the 3, 2 and 1.
Yes, I've given 1 vote to Chad Warner. I thought he was really good when the game was on the line in the third quarter as well. 24 disposals, 4 tackles to go with it, and 2 goals as well. 2 votes to Luke Parker, 29 disposals, 11 of those contested, and then 4 intercept possessions as well. But the 3 votes, Ethan Meldrum, your favourite player ever.
Ever.
Callum Mills, 37 disposals, 11 score involvements, 17 contested possessions and a goal, and the highest ranked game of the year.
So after trailing by 32 points midway through the first term, the Swans put the foot down and they run out winners by 41 points. Of course, for Choice Hotels around the ground, stick with us. We're only moments away from going to the MCG for that big one, Collingwood v the Bombers.
Let's get to our Macca's I'm Loving It moment. Here's how it happened on Triple M footy.
Lloyd, bit of composure, did it well, got it to Mills. Really clever kick. He saw Goulden out in space on the wing. He goes inside 50. Franklin's got goal side, takes the mark. Oh, and then he thought about playing one for half a step. He thought about it and then thought better of it. And he's going to go back. He's only 3 metres out, 5 metres out, but he's on a tight angle. And he's on the wrong side, so he's going to step out and kick one with his right boot. He doesn't kick too many on the right, but he's got that one. And the Swans, for the first time today, are in front.
Big thanks to Maccas, and a big thanks to all of our team here as well, to Joey, to Kate, to Ethan Meldrum and to Bryce, who did a great job on the boundary. We're off to the MCG next for Collingwood versus Essendon. Brownie, Das, Duck, Daisy, Robbo on the chew for McDonald's and Ream Hot Water. Triple M rocks footy.